Here we are. Hi.
Hi.
How's it?
Hello.
How are the things?
Wow, that snuck up on.
Yeah,
Oh,
sorry
it
about
started
that.
over.
Yeah.
It's back. Okay.
I was
I didn't
not
realize
paying
that
attention.
started over.
Yeah, it does. Learn something new every day.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
Well, how about that?
How are you doing, sir? I feel like that is a particularly loaded question right now.
Yeah, that is how I am doing. So, I mean, we can talk about my welcome to the city letter now because that was fun.
Yeah.
So I moved recently.
You did.
to a new place, new town, a home of my own purchase. And I got a welcome letter from the city that I just moved to
Nice.
on, I think Monday. Monday it showed up. It was a code violation.
What code did you violate?
I apparently violated the code that says sidewalks have to not be broken.
Wait.
Yep.
Isn't that
Not here. Yeah.
so?
That's exactly what it was, Reaper. Welcome to the city. Now pay up.
Wow. That's
Yeah. So it was like, congratulations, you violated this code. This letter that you received 4 days after the mailing date. Please contact us with a plan of action within 5 days of the mailing date.
so you had a day.
So it was like, then so I called in because there's a number on there, a number that says call this number with your plan of action. I called immediately once I got over my shock and was able to formulate a plan of action. And apparently the dude leaves the office at 3:00, and I called at 3:30.
So
So I did leave a message. It was just like, hey, got your thing. I'll reach out to contractors. And then he called me back the next day and was like, yeah, you've got until 60 days to get this done, whatever.
did you ask who reported it?
No, I didn't.
Oh man.
Yeah, city employees are the worst. But I mean, it was actually like, so basically what is happening, there is a tree that is in like the parking strip, like right on the edge of my property line. And that tree is lifting up the sidewalk.
That happened.
So we can't just
Listen.
fix this. We can't just fix the sidewalk because like there's nothing to fix. Like the tree is the thing that's causing the problem. So if we just fix the sidewalk, then we'd only end up having the problem again. So we have to take the tree out
Right.
and fix the sidewalk. So far we've gotten a bid for the tree, which is $3,500
Jesus.
because it is a massive tree.
Wow.
But it's also a massive tree that is slowly falling into the road because I think it uplifted the road at one point and the city came in and just like cut the roots on that side to like fix the road. So the tree is leaning like it's just slowly starting to lean into the road, which I think is probably actually the problem.
So if you having had a large tree come down, I learned a lot about the legalities surrounding trees falling.
Oh yeah.
So if it falls into the street, isn't it their problem now?
I mean, I don't know. That's a good question.
Like it was just if you go in the middle of the night and like hook your car to it and just pull it out into the street and leave it, how are they going to know it didn't just fall over in the middle of the night?
Or go down to the local watering hole down the street and hire some drunk to do it. I mean, aside from the fact that we just recorded those actions.
Oh, damn it.
Yeah. But yeah, like it's one of those things that it's like this could resolve itself naturally, or it could resolve itself naturally in the other direction and fall into our house.
Right.
And it's like,
That's not good.
and the nice thing is, like, there's another tree that we needed to take out that, like, it's kind of eating our cable line, and it's going to eat our power line. So, like, it's going to that tree needs to go away. And so we're just like, just wrap that into the, like, we're already paying this much. You may as well just do this other tree too. So that's kind of nice.
Did you check like Craigslist and stuff
What's that?
for people? Did you check like Craigslist and stuff?
Maybe, but it's like, because the tree is so big, they're going to have to, like, potentially block the road and get flaggers, and it's going to probably be a whole thing.
That's problematic.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I'm stuffing my face with M&M's. We had sushi for lunch today. And it was tons and tons of sushi. Which
And
is
now you're
super
hungry again.
well, it's like super umami,
Oh,
but
okay.
there was nothing sweet. And I've just been craving sweet since then. Howdy, Barlazy.
Hey, Barlazy. And hey, Sang. I didn't say hi to Sang yet.
Damn you.
But yeah, so now it's been working with the concrete guy, like, because we really wanted to put in a driveway and a parking pad up on, like, the front of the house in lieu of eventually putting in putting a garage in up there. And we got the bid for that, which was going to be like $10,000.
Good God, man.
And so it was like, well, let's not do that. So I texted him again today and was just like, let's just do the minimum and we'll save up for this, because we want to do it. But, like, right now we just need, like, to get this done by the 1st of July.
Man.
So I desperately need Cinco de Drinko.
I'm doing the coffee, so happy thing. Or
Happy Cinco de Mayo, sir.
don't you technically need 5 drinks?
I think that technically is 5 drinks.
Fair enough. I didn't even think about that.
I mean, that's a lot of drink.
That is a lot of. Is that Jose Cuervo?
No, that is Hornitas.
Hornitas.
Hornitos? Hornitas or Hornitos?
Horny toes.
Horny toads. It is.
Righty?
Yeah, this is Hornitos Resposado tequila.
Interesting. So all that's
you're
been
right. I
going
could
on.
just park my vehicle on the lawn like a real American. That's true.
Could. So that's all been happening.
Yep,
which is,
that's all been happening, which has been a joy.
And seems like maybe
Been having some interesting work issues.
Yeah.
Those have a plan of action, at least. I was able to talk to some folk, get the ball rolling on a couple things, solve a couple other long-standing issues, but just things are at least moving with that one. But it was just it feels like for the past 2 years, I've not had a chance to just be kind of just chill for a minute.
yeah.
And I'm really getting tired of that.
I would really like to calm down for just a moment, please.
I just just because in the midst of all of this too, I have had I've basically had 2 months to read 2,000 pages and write 10, 15, and write 30.
Just have ChatGPT write it for you.
Well, I mean, I could do that, but I actually kind of do want to earn this degree and not earn this degree.
What you can do, though, is give ChatGPT an outline that you've already determined and then have it build, or go the other way and, say, hey, can you give me an outline for a flawless essay along these lines?
The nice thing is, most of the assignments are actually pretty straightforward. It's read this book and then just what are they arguing? How did they argue it? What questions do you have about it? So like, it's not bad.
Yeah.
Like they actually, once I actually read the book, like those are each like 2 pages, right? There's another one that's like, read this book and write 3 questions and why you have these 3 questions. Like, so they're not bad. It's just a lot.
What, you thought getting a PhD would be easy?
I mean, I didn't think it was going like it's not like that. It's all of the work, right? Like the work itself isn't bad. It's just that like trying to do that work, but also do regular work and also have Easter and also then have all of this crap with the house. Like, I'm just like,
it feels like, especially around Easter, there would be some leniency in your schoolwork, right?
Right. But it's just
so.
kind of how it lands. Like that's just when it kind of starts. So it is what it is. I did get like, so I am done with one of the classes, and like I've got the assignments for one class all turned in, and I'm working on the other class now. And of course I did the second class first, and I'm doing the first class second because that was the order I got the syllabuses in.
Because you wanted to make it more interesting than it already was.
It is certainly making it more interesting. That is for sure. But that's okay.
Well, at least things at work are moving in the right direction. Right?
Yeah, they are definitely at least moving in a direction.
In a direction. That's good. We like a direction. I should have stopped and got some whiskey on the way home or something.
Yeah, well, you should have gotten some tequila.
I know.
Because it's Cinco de Mayo.
It is Cinco de Mayo. I'm not me and tequila though. I'm with Barlazy on this one.
See, the problem is you've got to get like sipping tequila that's actually like decent and not like cheapo Tito's.
Hey, Tito's is not horrible.
Well, Tito's is also vodka.
I mean, that's
right?
true. Yeah, that's fair. Damn it. I want tequila Tito's. The last experience I had with tequila. No, there's probably been a couple times that I've had like shots of tequila since then.
Wait, Tito's does make tequila.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
Wow.
Okay.
Huh.
The very first like alcoholic beverage I ever had was a margarita, and it's always had a nice soft spot in my heart.
That's fair. I disappeared into a bathroom in Seattle with half a bottle of Jose Cuervo Gold. And when I came out of the bathroom, I didn't have any Jose Cuervo Gold, and I also didn't have any eyebrows.
Oh, well, okay. Was that from the fire or?
No, I decided that was the right thing to do at the moment.
Okay. No, that makes sense. It was Seattle.
I never regretted it. I actually enjoyed not having eyebrows.
Okay.
This happened.
Oh, yes.
And I even got the fancy magnetic one.
Ooh, yeah, mine's the strap one.
They're so comfortable.
All
the best
the best
parties
are in
yes.
bathrooms.
The bathrooms are the VIPs. It's the VIP suite for parties.
Although I must have been going to either the right parties or the wrong parties, because
You went to kitchen parties, didn't you? Yep. Yeah. See, so there's
kitchen parties are their own little majesty.
They are.
They
and
really,
kitchen
like,
parties, they tend to be less troublesome than
but
bathroom parties.
They're less troublesome, but they're much more trashy.
They can be.
That's the word I'm looking for.
They can be, yeah. I'm gonna say that bathroom parties are pretty fucking trashy.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong, but it's a different kind.
Yeah. I feel like you don't have a kitchen party where there's a bathroom party going on, right?
No, never.
Like
Because the bathroom at kitchen parties is for using everything but the toilet to puke in.
Yes. And something about like having a kitchen full of people keeps people out of the bathroom. I don't know why. But once they migrate away from the kitchen, like when everyone moves to the living room, someone's going to the bathroom, and you want to follow that person because they're going to try to start a party in the bathroom.
I also tended to find myself I gravitated towards balconies as well.
Oh, balconies are always good. Yeah.
Because like if somebody's got an apartment with a balcony, because then that's where all the smokers are.
Right.
And there's always good conversation when everyone's on the balcony smoking.
Yes. There was a place that we used to party at that was on the top floor of one of those buildings in like a downtown of a small city.
Oh yeah.
So it was like a storefront on the bottom, and then it was apartments above, and this was on the top floor. So if you went up this staircase, you would end up on the roof, on this little balcony, kind of overlooking all these roofs. Roofs.
Roofs. Is it roofs or roofs?
I think it's.
Chat. What
is the plural of roof?
Ask ChatGPT.
Roofs.
Roofs, not roofs.
In the U.S., the standard plural is roofs. Elsewhere, roofs is fairly common.
Interesting.
Rooftops.
Rooftops.
Weird.
Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, like most of the kitchen parties I went to, and they all happened in very different apartment buildings, but they were always in the same apartment.
I actually kind of understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Very vastly different buildings in vastly different places, but it was always the same apartment.
I feel like the apartments that I've partied in. You remember when the second Dragon Age game came out?
Yeah.
And you slowly realize that all of the dungeons were the exact same.
Yes, where there were 4 maps that you just cycled through.
Yeah.
There was outside, there was cave, there was basement.
Yeah.
And that was that was probably about it, I think.
I feel like there's like 4 maps for the party apartment. And it's one of those, probably 3 actually. There's like 3.
Because the one I'm thinking of, there's a vague hallway for the entrance, and then it opens up into the living room, but the kitchen is almost part of the living room, but not quite.
Like slightly tucked into a corner somewhere.
Yeah. So that if you're in the kitchen, you can talk to somebody in the living room, but you definitely wouldn't call them the same room.
But if there is a wall between the two, there's a hole in it with a little thing for the plates.
And then from the living room, there's a balcony.
Mm-hmm.
And then the bathroom is usually tucked behind the kitchen.
Oh.
There's another hallway that goes to the bedrooms and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But that was for coats and privacy.
That's fair.
So but you had to walk by them to get to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Or, well, actually there was another layout that had where the bathroom was almost in the middle of the floor plan.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But always the balcony. Every party apartment had a balcony.
It's weird to me that I've been to a lot of apartments with balconies, and I've been to a lot of apartments that are on subfloor, they're under the ground, so that when you go out, you're have to go up. I've never partied in an apartment, I don't think, that was on the ground floor. That just opened up onto the ground. There was always stairs involved. See, they don't exist. It's not part of one of the 4 maps.
Huh.
Mm-hmm. See, it's more proof we're living in a simulation.
I have never either partied or lived in an apartment that was actually on the ground floor.
I did have an apartment in Seattle that was window. When I opened the window was flat with the street. It was maybe
that's still a below ground apartment.
I mean, technically, yeah. Yeah.
And I've been to some interesting, like, below ground apartment parties.
Yes.
But those ones tend to be, like, more depressing
Yeah.
than the balcony apartment parties.
Yeah. They tend to be calmer, but, like, there's harder drugs involved.
Yeah. It, like, those are the people, they're not partying to have fun, they're partying to forget.
They're trying to escape their demons.
Yeah. It is the sketchy dive bar equivalent of the apartment party.
Yeah. Well, that's fair. That is totally fair.
Which honestly, like, that's always been more my vibe. Like,
The hard drugs and
Yes,
the
the
running
hard
from your
drugs.
problems.
that, like, I'm not here to have fun. Like,
I'm here to get fucked up.
yeah, like,
I'm not
that
here
is
to
just-
mess around. This is
those are
professional
the
party.
people that are actually more fun to be around. They're more interesting.
It's like intermediate partying, right? I feel
Yeah.
like beginner partying, like entry level partying, is like, college frat parties, right?
Yeah, it's
or like
the-
house parties.
Pour everything in a bathtub and just shove Kool-Aid on top.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Or like it's the kind of parties that you wake up and there's people all over the floor, right?
Yep.
Because they just kind of found a spot and went.
Yeah.
And then you have like
and it's the one where, like, no one's actually hooking up with anyone at those parties because, like, you know that you can't, like, nobody can be trusted.
right. I had a friend that told me about a party he went to. Someone thought a cig over the balcony into a tree that was right there, and someone threw a cig over the balcony into a tree that was right there and started a fire. So one guy stood up on the railing 4 stories up and pissed on the fire till it went out.
So that brings us to intermediate partying.
Yeah, that's intermediate party.
And that's the apartment party. Like, the apartment the balcony apartment party is intermediate partying.
Yeah. And then
Because these are the folk that they're in it to party.
these are weekend party. These are people who, like, Friday night they throw a banger on the
Yeah,
balcony.
occasionally a Thursday. Like, but that's like the intermediate to beginner. That's the, like,
Yeah.
because
3-day weekends are like intermediate territory.
right? But, like, Thursday night parties and Saturday night parties, those are the beginner. That's the entry level.
Yeah.
It's Thursday and Saturday. And then I never knew why the entry level parties were always on Thursday, but it
That is
just
weird.
It just was.
That is
And then
weird.
intermediate. It's Friday, Saturday, and 3-day weekends.
Yeah.
And
then
these are the ones where you're gonna have, like, it. This is the ones that, like, might even, like, you'll catch the people going out to the bar.
Yeah.
Like, they're going out, they're gonna go dance into the bar, and then they come to the apartment.
Or they're
party.
like pre-gaming, or coming
Yeah.
back from the bar
Yep.
after closing, and after party kind of thing. But like,
They're these transitional moments almost.
yeah, advanced partying, there is no time. It could be 2:00
No.
in the afternoon on a Monday.
It could especially be 11 o'clock in the morning on a Wednesday. Like,
Yeah,
I think that is peak advanced partying.
yeah. I think if you've ever left a party and opened the door and been shocked that the sun was up. Like, that's an advanced part. You have
Actually,
when you have partied through
I-
the whole night.
I think that's when you're, like, on the cusp of graduating.
Okay.
Right? Because it's surprising.
It is. That's true.
Because if it's surprising, then you're still not quite too advanced.
That's very true.
Like, the advanced folk, they know full well what time it is.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't matter.
I guess it's more advanced when you're putting your outfit together to go to the party with the plan of doing the walk of shame the afternoon, like tomorrow afternoon. Tomorrow morning or afternoon, I'm going to be walking home in this outfit. Is this what I want to do?
I would still say that is like the professional intermediate partier, though.
I mean, okay.
Well, because
Okay.
think about it. Like, when you get to basement party levels, there is no walk of shame. Because shame's gone.
I mean, that's fair.
There's no shame anymore.
You're well into degenerate territory.
Yeah. Like,
I guess it's true. You kind of come through that phase and back into the I'm going to do whatever I want because it's not going to matter anyway.
right. And it's
Yeah,
it's
that's
when
fair.
the nihilism starts to kick in that you really graduate to advanced partying.
Yeah. And that's when you walk into a bathroom to take a leak and someone says, hey, you want to do a line? And before you even ask what it is, you just do it. And then you pee, and then you say, what was that again?
Yeah.
It's heroin. Oh.
Oh, okay.
It's good to know.
And then you walk out going, well, now I've tried heroin.
Now I'm on heroin. Cool.
It reminds me of a picture of a frat party with two girls, one in a mini dress and one in sweats. And the caption is the difference between freshmen and seniors.
Yeah. For sure.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, freshmen, they it's a special night, right? They get dressed up because it's a special night. Seniors is just another fucking weekend, man. Just another weekend. Where's Nubs?
There's Nubs.
They wanted to see you, turd. Look, over there. There's a kid. Oh, over here, look.
No, I will say there is one more level.
Uh-oh.
There is,
And
and it's elusive,
Okay.
but there exists a master level.
A master level party. Okay.
Yeah. And that they're the ones where there is no party because they are the party.
Oh, gotcha. So I had an apartment or a house that I was renting with a bunch of friends in Colorado before I left to go to college. And there sat 2 full kegs of beer in the kitchen 24/7. As soon as one would get empty, we would go fill it up. And it stayed that way for like 6 months. And at any point you could walk into the front door and someone in that house was fucked up. And it just was that way for like 6 months. So
and
yeah, I can see that.
Where it's not like it isn't a party anymore.
It is a way of life.
It is just it just is.
I feel like that is one step above a squat. Like you are on the threshold of like crust punk squat shit happening.
Yes. Once you that is the level past master partier. Is
crust punk.
Crust punk.
So the peak partier is a crust punk. I'm glad that we have finally solved this.
We've brought it all the way around.
Oh God.
Like, I really am thinking about like the people that I knew that were really in to that like weekend party scene, right? Like it is shallow in a way that the day drinker's pain is real. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's just something pure about the dude at the bar at 3 p.m. on a Monday.
Yeah,
like,
that's like drinking their way through their problems. Instead of going to therapy, they're there doing shots of whiskey.
But they're not like drunks, because that's a whole different thing. Like,
true. Yeah.
But it's just like this, like it is their therapy.
Which is just weird.
It is.
Like that's very much like a boomer way of dealing with problems.
Absolutely.
I'm just going to live at the bar and deal with it that way.
I don't need to go to work.
Work? Nah.
There's the bar.
I don't need to go home between work days.
It basically is Cheers, right?
I mean,
like when you really come down to it.
Yeah, Cheers was basically the story of a whole group of alcoholics.
It is the difference between Cheers and Friends. Like Friends is the intermediate partiers.
Or beginner even, maybe.
Yeah, maybe a little, maybe beginner.
Yeah. Like I don't feel like if the characters from Friends invited me to a party, that would be a kitchen party. That would not be a bathroom party.
Yeah, that would absolutely be a kitchen party.
There's nobody doing lines off the back of the toilet in the bathroom.
It's a kitchen party in an apartment with a balcony.
It really is. Mind you, it's a special party though, because it is not one of the 4 floor plans.
Right,
They made a special map for this one.
Yeah.
So it must be quest related, I would assume.
Yes. There's absolutely a quest involved.
Yeah, it's going to have something to do with stealing something while you're there.
Yeah.
that's
But then-
large.
But like Cheers, though, that's the inn that you go to where one of your companions hangs out.
Yeah, or lives upstairs or something. Like
Yes, absolutely. It's where you find Varric.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
This all tracks. This all tracks. I feel like
we're there. I think we're there. We've solved it. Partying the video game.
I think we could. I think we should build this. I think we could build it. I have a list of things.
Oh, I'm scared.
I showed you my chair. Very excited about my chair.
Yep. It's a very nice chair.
It's so comfortable.
So did you get the like black on black? Is that why?
Yes.
Nice.
It's black.
I like the blue. Like it just works really well on mine. But
It's their 2022.
now, did you get the leather or the cloth?
This is the it's not the full leather. The full leather was like $1,000. I wasn't doing that. This is like the fake pleathery stuff that they
okay.
have, but it still feels like leather. So we'll see how long it lasts.
I got the clothy stuff because I know I sit like a mutant. I didn't want to like feel like I was gonna stick to it.
Yeah, I'm worried about the sticking, but you can buy covers for these cloth covers.
Oh.
And they're not too expensive. So if I do end up having a sticky problem, I'll just buy a cover for it.
Yeah, that works.
I figure that's a thing. So I took my guitar to the shop
Oh, good.
and had the guy dial it in. Still going round and round with Ubisoft tech support.
Oh,
It's about a 2-week turnaround every time there's a post. It takes 2 weeks for them to respond. So I should technically be hearing from them sometime next week, I think.
okay.
It's ridiculous.
That's when the 2 weeks comes up.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like any of it. Ow.
Loves attack.
Been playing a lot of what's this thing called Hogwarts.
Oh yeah. How's supporting a transphobic cracker?
I didn't give any money for this game, so I'm not supporting a transphobic cracker.
Okay. Very nice.
It's a good game. It's worth pirating. I wouldn't buy it, but it's a good game. Good. It's getting a little grindy, but
Well, that happens.
I'm excited. I'm thinking. Here's my dilemma. So I bought Last of Us because it finally hit PC.
Okay.
While I was waiting for it to download, I found the cracked version of Hogwarts. So I downloaded that. So I've been playing Hogwarts. So I still have Last of Us Part 1 sitting on my computer, barely touched. I played like through part of the tutorial. But the new Jedi game dropped, which I've been super excited for.
I did see that dropped.
And it's the first one. I loved the first one. But if I buy the Jedi game and play it before I finish Hogwarts, I will never go back to Hogwarts. I will never go back and finish that. But I kind of don't want to do it anyway. Is that bad? Like I never finished Atomic Heart because it got that way too, and I was like, I don't care anymore.
Yeah, there's a weird like grindy thing that happens.
Yeah. It's like awesome gameplay, awesome story. We're doing things, and then here's 80 hours of grinding.
And it's like they needed like 20 hours more of quests.
Yeah.
And they're like, we just can't be bothered. So
yeah, we're just gonna put this same quest everywhere and just call it like a thing that you can do over and over.
you can do. We'll give you 30 fetch quests.
Yeah, there have been a lot of reports. Like supposedly the Last of Us game is super buggy, the port on that, and then I've heard that the port on Jedi is not great either, which sucks. So I might wait because maybe it'll be patched and fixed by the time I finish Hogwarts. I don't fucking know. Yeah. I don't know.
I was playing because of that good Humble Bundle sale I got Pathfinder Kingmaker.
Oh.
So I was playing that, but and then I tried to play the sequel because that ended up going on like a super good sale right afterwards. So I'm like, oh, okay, I'll pick it up. And I just like I can't get into it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I know the feeling.
It's kind of like there's that RPG from a couple years ago. Divinity 2.
Oh yeah.
I tried so hard.
I did too. I thought it would be really good, and I just couldn't get.
Yeah, I don't know if it was just like the story or the gameplay. Like none of me could get into that.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like there's like 7 games. And that's all we really play. It's the same 7 games with different graphics and different stories. But it's the same 7 games.
But it's all the same story.
Yeah. And it just feels like okay. Like Hogwarts. It's Grand Theft Auto. But you have a wand instead of a gun.
Apparently Mrs. Pastor sent both of us TikToks that we need to watch.
Okay. I saw it come in.
So is it the most recent one?
Okay, hold on.
You know what today is?
Okay. Or is it the same TikTok?
Cinco de Mayo.
Oh god. Oh my god.
Oh man.
I feel like we have found your Cinco de Mayo outfit.
Apparently.
We need to get you some Jinko jeans.
It is apparently Jinko de Mayo.
Jinko de Mayo. I feel like you could bring the Jinkos back.
Could I?
Yeah. We could call you Dr. Pastor Jinko.
Dr. Pastor Jinko Coil.
Jinko Coil. I like it. I think it is the next step in fashion evolution.
Oh man, I still remember the Jinko jeans.
I never had Jinko jeans.
I never did either, but I remember,
them. Yeah, I remember them. Every time I'd go to the mall, there'd be lots of Jinko jeans.
The 2 things you could count on at the mall in that era were Jinko jeans on the dudes and whale tails on the girls.
Whale tails?
Whale tails.
Wait, what is it? Hold on. I feel like I know what that is.
I feel like you absolutely should know what that is.
Yeah, but it's not clicking. Oh.
Now there it is.
Yeah, no, that tracks. That tracks. Yeah. I didn't know that had a name.
Oh, really? Yeah, because it looks like a whale tail.
It does. I've never heard that before, and I'm kind of horrified a little bit, if I'm being completely honest. It's a little weird that's.
It was the 90s. Like everyone had their underwear hanging out.
I mean, yeah, that's true. In the 80s, they wore them on the outside. In the 90s, they were just hanging out everywhere. It's fine.
Exactly.
It's all fine. So what are your plans for this weekend, man?
Work.
Stop working so much.
Dude, well, so we've got we're trying something different for this Sunday.
You're worshiping the devil.
I mean, that argument has been made.
Wait, what?
What we're
have we tried worshiping the devil yet?
Yeah. So we're having a guitar player accompany the worship service, which arguably is worshiping the devil because it's the guitars.
Okay.
Basically, our organist is going to be unavailable, needed a week off, and that was what volunteered. So we're like, all right, let's do it.
Organist.
No, they're actually good. Like the guitarist is like a fingerstyle guitarist. Like
lots of dirty words coming out of your mouth.
I know.
Sorry, I will try to be an adult for the rest of this conversation.
And so he's going to play his wooden instrument.
Damn you. Is he bringing his own hardwood, or is he going to use wood that you guys offer for him there? Are you going to take your wood for him to finger?
He's bringing his own.
Okay.
He's gonna.
So there's a guy that's coming to your church to finger his wood in front of everyone.
That makes me deeply uncomfortable, actually. Just the idea of someone fingering their wood, that's deeply uncomfortable.
I mean, I could send you some video.
I don't want to see them.
Have you discovered the wonders of sounding yet? Can we?
Oh, but anyhow,
I feel you trying to move on. We
I'm
can do
trying
this.
really hard.
Okay.
But yeah, so the guitarist wants to run through stuff for the service just to make sure he knows what's happening and
That's
when
fair.
to finger his instrument.
So he wants to privately finger his instrument just for you to make sure that it's going to be good enough when he fingers his wood in front of everyone.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
Also, Reaper says, "Fingering my wood" is the name for my Dave Matthews cover band.
fingering my wood. Oh God, I love it. I love it.
Goodness gracious.
Finger.
There was a at the small town Greasy Spoon cafe that I used to frequent. There was this one older guy who like always had some manner of dirty religious joke for me because like he was trying to rile up the pastor, and I think he got disappointed after a while when I like didn't react. And so it turned into just like, this is his joke of the day. And almost, I would say like solidly half of them involved organs somehow.
Yeah, I mean,
Because it's right there.
it's a good go-to.
it's
It's low-hanging
right there.
fruit.
Yep.
Low-hanging fruit.
Oh, hanging fruit.
I discovered a cool thing that you might be interested in, although it's expensive again, so maybe not. There is a company. Hold on. Called Neural DSP.
Oh, I've heard of them.
Yes. They make plugins for guitars and bass.
Yeah.
Expensive plugins.
Yeah, very expensive.
They were on sale, 50% off.
Oh, did you get one?
I did. I got the Archetype Gojira.
Gojira.
I guess all of them are based on like specific guitarists and that those specific guitarists' rigs. And the one that I got is for the band Gojira, which I guess is a like sludgy metal band sort of thing.
Is this for your drone metal?
I guess I don't. Wanted something easy that I could just plug in and they're
did you
very
find
clean.
Did you ever try out that software that like lets you run VSTs live?
I did not. I need to look at that again. I totally forgot. What was that called?
I don't know. I think it's in Discord. Audio Strum? Yeah. Live Professor.
Yeah. I do need to look. See, that would be probably exactly what I need.
And I don't know, like, what it costs.
Yeah.
Which is kind of,
It
like, I
doesn't.
can't find, there's a store.
99. What is that?
That's euros.
99 euros for a perpetual license.
Okay.
Huh.
Valid for one user on 3 systems.
All updates free for 24 months. So you get updates for 2 years, and then you're
But
On
and then
your
you
own.
can use it forever.
yeah, but you never get any more updates.
Right.
Which is just kind of a weird way to do that, I think.
Yeah. But it's also like, when you think about it, like, 99 euro is, how much is 99?
I don't know.
How much is 99 euro in American? Oh, it's like 110 bucks.
Yeah, that's kind of a little expensive for what it is. Like that's not.
Well, but it's a lot cheaper than like a Waves box.
I mean, it is, but a Waves
And-
box I could take with me.
Well, I mean, this would just be on your computer,
True.
and it runs like any VST you want to throw in it.
That's true. Although here is, ooh, this thing looks ancient.
What is it?
It's called VST host. Here is, I'll put this in the
VST host.
Here's it is in chat.
Harman Sib.
I started this in 2002 in order to understand the inner workings of VST
And
plugins.
it certainly looks like it.
Yes, it's fantastic.
The current version. Oh, look at that. It is 32-bit Windows.
Oh,
Oh, wait, no, there's a 64 version.
Yeah, there's a 64.
For Windows 2000 and up.
Whew.
Look at that.
Yeah, I'm not gonna try to install that. I'll fucking brick my computer.
That's majestic.
Cantabile Light. Here's another one. This one looks like the same thing, only pretty. Hold on. There's another one. It's got a little keyboard.
Cantable.
Cantable? And it's free?
Oh, that does look pretty.
Yes, hi, come here.
Oh,
Everybody wants to see you. Look.
squeakers. Oh,
Oh, why? What's wrong?
this is your life now.
Yep, I live here now.
That's what you wanted. No.
Now she's happy now.
Yep.
All right, I guess I'm just gonna hold her for a while.
Yep, that's what you're doing now.
Does your cat have a saddle? Yes. I use this to ride her around the house.
Oh, okay.
No, this is because she doesn't play nice with the others yet. So she gets a harness so that we can walk her through the house on a leash.
Oh,
Because she's a mean ass. Although I kind of want to make her a little saddle now.
that'd be good.
Cat
If you're looking
saddles.
for a simple way to play VST plugins in real time.
That has to be an Etsy store.
Oh, that was a loud vehicle outside.
Hold on. Cat saddle. Cat saddle. They make cat saddles.
Oh, wow.
They're literally like tiny little saddles for cats.
Oh.
I want to find one on Etsy. Make her a saddle and then put your Boba Fett action figure on it like a feral furry rancor.
Or
I like that
or-
idea.
get a night elf figurine, and then
My
then
God.
she's a mount.
Do you know how big that night elf would have to be?
Like, yeah, I guess that's true.
She's not quite the right color to be a chaotic Woofles.
Eh,
There are cat saddles.
you really don't want to tempt fate with bringing your woofles into the world.
No. 5850.
Probably why we're in the timeline we're in.
It's all Woofles' fault. You can get a 5-inch mini saddle for dogs or cats. Not for riding, for $58.50.
Not for riding.
That's what it says.
Okay. As long as that's clear that it's not for riding.
Yes, it looks handmade too, which is very fancy. Very fancy.
Is it perhaps the fanciest pants?
They are pretty fancy pants. Pretty fancy pants.
Oh.
Do you ever like accidentally fall into like someone else's hobby? Like there are people out there who have a hobby, right?
Okay.
And it's something weird that you've never really thought about before, but then you end up looking at like the things for that, and it's weird. Like now I'm looking at all these add-ons that people buy for their saddles, like
Oh, right.
to hold their phone and to hold a cup or whatever. And it's weird. There's a lot of like
The entire like universe that is horse stuff. Just like it's a lot.
almost got into paintballing after a few. See, paintballing is one like you watch a few videos and you're like, I want a paintball gun. But like there's things you can put in your back seat so that the saddle sits right. I don't know.
Oh wow.
It's a lot of weird stuff going on. A lot of weird stuff. I'm gonna go get some water.
Let's do that. Let's see. What should we leave the chat with this time?
What is your favorite thing that you have hyper focused on once and then never went back to again? That you like went and learned everything about and just hyper focused the shit on for like a month or two and then just was like, fuck it, I'm never doing that again. Or is that just me? Am I the only one that does that?
I think that's just the ADHD.
Speaking of, remind me about that. We'll be right back. While we're gone, what's your
with the hyper focus
with thing? Bye. Okay, we're back. I am hot as well. I got this chair and put it together yesterday, and then short about an hour after I put it together, I had to go do other stuff. So this is the first time I've been in it for more than like an hour, and my window's been open all day, so it's warm in here, and there's sweat in places.
We had so all last week. One of the reasons why I just did not feel up to streaming last week, we had a crew install a new furnace and then 2 heat pumps in the house, one on the furnace, one like as a ductless unit, and so it was just like a lot. It's like anytime you've got people like in your home for that length of time, like
you have to like recover, like physically recharge.
So we actually took the opportunity to start watching Ted Lasso, which is a whole
I've heard good things.
It is an excellent soccer show that isn't about soccer.
Oh, okay.
Like the soccer is not the point.
Okay.
Like, so yeah. But yeah, so like the trick with that is right now our electrical service can't actually like run the air conditioner and heat and stuff.
Right. Because you're waiting
we're
for the electrical guy to come out.
For the electric company
update it
to
all.
run the power so that we, yeah.
Nice.
Wait, the guy who plays Roy is one of the writers too?
Huh.
I didn't know that.
If I ever had a horseshoeing business, I'd call it Thamor. Then I'd be Thamor the Farrier. Ha ha.
Well done, saying.
One thing, oh god, there's been so many, I don't know where to start. I once hyper-focused on the cure for death, but then I didn't care if people died, so I gave up on it and started playing WoW again. That's fair. That's fair.
So, I'm not really a hyperfixator.
Bastards.
Now, Mrs. Pastor is, so I understand the concept.
So what was her last hyper-focus?
Dip nails.
Dip? I don't even know what those two words together
it's
means.
like a powdery nail thing. I don't fully understand it.
Oh.
But yeah, dip nails. That was her last one.
So, okay. It's basically like powder coating your nails.
Pretty much, yeah.
Nice. Okay, I can get behind that. Does it last a while?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But there is you have to be careful. There's a well-known thing called dip flu, where it's either, and they're not sure which one, it's either a allergic reaction to some of the chemicals, or it's like a sensitivity to some of the chemicals, so that you're like miserable for 3 days afterwards.
Yeah, no, I don't want to do that at all.
Yeah.
That sounds awful. I deep dived into Freemasonry years ago.
Okay.
My grandpa was one, and now my dad is, but afterwards I was just left feeling meh about it. That's
Well, sir, you
fair.
can never convert to Mormonism now.
Because you had a family member that was a Freemason?
Well, if you're a Freemason, like you can't be a Mormon,
Oh.
and vice versa, I think.
Why?
Long story short, Joseph Smith probably copied a lot of the Freemason secret rituals and put them in the temple.
Oh, that tracks.
Yeah.
That tracks.
I guess like, so because I lean more on the, I think I might be on the autism spectrum rather than on the ADHD spectrum. Like, I just have special interests that I spend way too much time focusing on.
That's fair. By the way,
and
I
they're not
love
so
your
much
T-shirt.
Oh, thank you. You can get it at Dave Rat's shop.
Oh, nice. Sound sound face.
Yep.
I love it.
But yeah. So I just like, it's special. Like it's a hyperfixation that lasts
Your whole life.
decades.
Interesting.
Case in point, Dune, BattleTech.
Yeah. No, I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see that. So I found out through a TikTok, of course, because that's how I get all of my information now. I guess it's a really well-known fact. Fuck. There is a correlation between undiagnosed ADHD and alcohol dependency issues.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, not alcoholism, specifically not alcoholism.
Oh.
But dependency issues nonetheless. Like where you don't go full-blown alcohol, like alcoholic, but
So kind of like you're spending
like me.
13 years drunk.
Yeah, yeah. So that was interesting to find out about, and to realize very quickly. Oh yeah, that tracks.
I'm kind of realizing a lot of things, like the fact that I'm like, I kid you not, like I just need to show you the things that I have been fidgeting with. Like I've been fidgeting with all of these things the whole time that we've been talking, because I just like have to have something that I fidget with.
I don't know what
like-
you're talking about. I
Right.
could never possibly.
But it's interesting because like when you take the like self-diagnose ADHD tests, I score super low.
Interesting.
Like, so ADHD does not seem to be a thing. But it's like definitely like, I do tend to score high on like OCD and the autism spectrum tests.
TikTok has decided that I'm autistic now.
I mean, everyone goes through that phase.
Yeah.
Like
it's like, we got
you.
you. We pegged you with the last one.
Yeah.
Let's try this one too.
It basically tries neurodivergencies until it finds one that sticks.
Yeah, I think so. But like, I don't get a whole lot of ADHD content anymore. Now it's all autistic content. I'm like, fine. Is that different from high functioning alcoholism? I don't know. I don't like.
Is high functioning alcoholism really a thing, or does that just mean you can go to work?
Yeah, I
I
think.
I feel like it just means you're an alcoholic who goes to work.
Yeah, I feel like for me the split was always there's alcoholics and there's functional alcoholics. Like functional and non-functional. There's people who drink every day and go to work and pay their bills and do all the things that they're supposed to do. And then there's people who just drink all day.
So Satyr is an autistic lesbian communist.
With ADHD. And what else?
So I just finished reading for one of my classes. It's this book. It is definitely not a Christian book, but it is all about community organizing.
Oh, interesting.
And I actually have another one that's all about community organizing from like a churchy perspective. So that's
we should organize a community.
That's well. So one of the again, I have to write. I have to write a paper summarizing these things and asking questions. And one of the questions I asked, it was basically like, so if you're an introvert, how do you do any of this? Like they're all written as if you're the type of like rabid social bunny who's just like, hi, people.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I'm like, so if you're someone whose happy place is to not speak to a human for an entire day, like, how do you do that? Like, how does that work for you?
I feel like an organization or a group of people trying to organize a group of people like that. It's what we do. It's what we've and you can't. So you get a small group of people who are just basically your friends, and that's it.
You almost need like the token extrovert, right?
Yeah,
like
the obnoxious one.
Yeah, to just like get things done.
Yeah, just like one day a week they come in and go do all of the extrovert shit.
Yeah,
and then you spend the week making up for it, cleaning up all the mess.
Yeah, that's a plan. So we need to find our token extrovert.
Do we have to spend time with them though? Because that would be fucking irritating.
I mean, imagine like a little bit of time.
Ugh.
But then we can go hide in a cave for like a day afterwards.
I'm still not liking this idea. What is this group that we're starting? Are we starting our religion? Is this what we're doing?
Cult, possibly.
Cult. Yeah, let's do a cult. Yeah.
Saying, "Oh, pick me."
Okay, you are our token extrovert. Are you an extrovert? I don't see you as an extrovert.
Bar lazy. That ain't me.
Yeah, I feel like the funny part is, overall, I think you and I are both pretty much introverts.
Yeah,
and we're probably the most extroverted out of this entire group.
Which it is. It is really funny that like I exist in a very public-facing profession.
Mm-hmm.
Like.
Yeah.
And like I can turn it on. It's just exhausting.
Yes. Come on, Reaper. You can be the one. Yeah, see, I feel like you can't be a really good introvert without knowing how to fake extrovertism really well. But yeah, it's exhausting. It is absolutely exhausting.
Like I try to It's interesting to try to explain to people like what makes Sundays so exhausting.
All the people.
Because yeah, it's all of the people.
And you know what it could be? If you do think that there may be a hint of the tism, one thing that I'm learning over now that I'm officially diagnosed
over on autism TikTok.
Yes, now that I'm on, but it's the same thing with ADHD. Is in most neurodivergencies is masking is fucking exhausting. And
Oh, yeah.
we don't realize how often we do it.
Well, and
Especially
that's
if you've
what,
never been diagnosed.
That's what kind of like things. Like I notice it, especially on like Pastor Rico's parish videos, where like the speech patterns, like my brain intellectually knows they're not quite right, but like it seems like what they're like it's what they're supposed to be, but they're not quite right.
Yeah, you might want to get checked for the tism there, buddy.
Yeah, I'm thinking. But then it's like, okay, do I want that in my back pocket? Like, so that like if somebody starts being a jerk, I can just be like, boom,
Hey.
American with Disabilities Act. Or
Like, are you really going to make fun of an autistic person
Right.
like that?
Exactly.
God.
Or do like I need to research like what problems might that cause? Because on TikTok I've seen some folk that are like, you know, if you've got autism, you have to like take a driver's test every year.
What?
Yeah.
What? That can't be real. Do people with autism...
And I'm sure it's like state by state, but I'm like, I don't want to have to put up with that.
I mean, yeah, that would be awful. What? How does...
It's like,
is it legal for autistic people to drive? God, I love the internet. Strengths associated with
Is that
autism.
YouTube Answers or Yahoo Answers?
This is actually like a health website.
Oh gosh.
I don't see anything about.
Okay.
But there is a lot of talk about autism and driving, which makes sense.
I feel like autistic people would be really good drivers.
Well, this says that newly licensed autistic drivers have similar to lower crash rates, but are much less likely to have their license suspended or to receive a traffic violation.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, no, that makes sense though,
True.
because like autism tends to have a strong sense of justice. So like,
Yeah, that one gets me too. Every time I hear that, I'm like, God damn it.
yeah, that's the one because. Well, and because it's the like, for me, it's like, you know, reading the Bible and hearing things like, you know, love your neighbor, God's all about looking out for the poor and the widow and the orphan and you know the people on the fringes of society, and it's just kind of like, but this is what it says. So why aren't we doing it?
Yeah.
Shouldn't we be doing this?
Yeah.
This is what we should be doing.
It's really weird to me. I want to know, and I've seen there is discussion about this, but like I need someone, a science person, to sit down and figure this out. Because I remember going to church as a child. I remember going to school as a child. I remember the things that we were taught, right? We were taught about sharing. We were taught about being nice to one another. We were taught about listening to other people. We were taught about trying to understand other people's frame of reference, trying to, give of yourself for other people to help them if you can. And then at some point, and that is hammered into us by every adult around us as children.
Yep.
And at some point, a switch gets flipped.
So there's it's a meme, but it's also like exactly what happened. Like when I was a kid in youth group, they told us over and over again, like we were going to do great things for God and there was going to be a big revival and we were going to be we were going to be on fire and we were going to like live out the kingdom. And then we did that. And all the adults said, no, not like that. That's not right. And then everybody left the church.
It's really weird to me that like, what's weird to me is the disconnect where there are adults who are like, no, this is how children need to interact with one another, not adults. And I'm like, well, but why? Isn't that everybody? We should do that with everybody.
Sabar Lazy says, I have an uncle that we are pretty sure has problematic, and I'll explain why in a second. He was never tested because you didn't do that back in the 50s and 60s. So first of all, Mr. Asperger was a Nazi.
Yeah. He did bad things.
Asperger's syndrome, as whatever they called it, it's fallen out of favor in large part because it basically meant like, yeah, you're autistic, but you can work. So
Yeah.
it's like very sketch. So they've changed it to like autism spectrum disorder.
Yeah.
Which is in part why like there are more diagnoses of autism because the diagnostic criteria has broadened vastly.
Yes.
But I'm most like, I think there are a lot more people with a touch of the autism than we think. Like, I like think of like in old timey shows. There's always like that one dude who's a little bit slow, but he like just loves farm work. But and that's like, that's obviously like a caricature of it, and it's meant to be like, oh, look at the slow guy.
Yeah.
But like those people existed,
Yeah.
and they just, that was probably just their special interest.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. It makes me think, what was that book with the black dude that gets tried for murdering someone, but he's like slow?
To Kill a Mockingbird?
Yes. It makes me think it's To Kill a Mockingbird.
But I think of like a lot of like people who work in trades, like those folk who are just really into like the nuances of plumbing.
Yeah.
Or like
Or like people who are really good at electronics.
yep.
Nothing else. Just electronics.
Right.
Like, this is everything.
And it's just, it's one of those things where like if it's useful, then like they're just a little off. But as soon as it becomes like, if somebody's just super into like model trains, then
Right. Now we have a
they're
problem.
just weird. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel that. I feel that. I have a feeling like there's so much stuff that they're going to look back on this time in history with a different lens
Oh yeah.
and be able to see like, oh, well, yeah, there's, of course, lots of people had ADHD and autism.
Yeah.
Because look at the world that we live in and look at all of the lead that was in the men's testicles.
Well, like part of dealing with this really old house, like having had to do asbestos removal, it's like, what are people going to look back on in 50 years as like the asbestos that like is just in everything? And it's like, no, that was awful. Why did we do that?
Corn syrup, man. I tell you. It's going to be fucking corn syrup. Do you know why everything is made from corn syrup? I just found this all out recently.
It's cheap.
No. Well, kinda. So, God. So you know how the government, I need to put my tinfoil hat.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So the government, man.
Hold on. You need like a little piece of snot or something coming down while you're.
Is this not good enough? Here, can I open this?
Oh.
Is that, will that be
might
weird
work.
enough? Hold on. It looks like I'm picking my nose.
Yeah.
Fuck, I can't find it. That's irritating. I'm just looking at my teeth.
Yeah.
So the government at some point subsidized a bunch of corn to help
Right.
farmers because
Which they do
Yeah.
on the regular.
they do. But what do you think happens to the corn? Because there's no market
Right.
for it. The market doesn't change and all of a sudden lots of people need corn.
Ooh.
So they turn it
Have
into...
fun, Barlazy.
Oh. Enjoy, man. Thanks
You
for
should
swinging by.
also you should also introduce your daughter to Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's a good show.
That was very...
I'm introducing Mrs. Pastor to Avatar: The Last Airbender.
Oh.
That's why I thought of it.
And you were like,
What's a kid's show?
okay. So that's why you're showing it to your wife?
Well, she has a weird relationship with cartoons because if they're for kids, she enjoys them, but like if they're cartoons for adults, she doesn't want to watch them on principle.
Wait,
Yeah,
what?
I don't get it either.
What? What?
So, like-
why?
She doesn't want to watch Archer. Like
Why? Like,
Because-
what's the principle?
I don't know. She's just like, but they're cartoons. She's just like, they're cartoons for adults, and I don't like them. Like, I wonder if she watched like heavy metal too young.
Oh, yeah.
But like, yeah, she just does not like cartoons for adults.
That's really weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not even going to try to process it. I'm just going to let it go right out the other ear.
Because I think she would really enjoy a show like Archer. Like, it's got her kind of humor.
You should show her. Does she like Star Trek?
I don't think so.
Fine, never mind.
I know you really want me to watch Lower Decks.
You know what it? Yeah, you know what it is. Fucking Sang's got it. She saw Plague Dogs or Watership Down too soon.
Oh, maybe.
Or what was the one with the rabbit? That is Watership Down. What was the other one? There's Plague Dogs, Watership Down, Animal Farm, and the one with the aliens that have humans as pets.
Oh,
Forbidden Planet. Forbidden Planet?
What was the one? What was the one with the robot that was named like Maximilian? Was that the Black Hole?
I think so. Let's see. The robot, not the buttocks. I don't know why.
Yes, it was. Thank you, Reaper.
It was.
You know, okay. You know what I think? I think it might be time for another playthrough of Knights of the Old Republic, because one of the single best robots to ever robot is AK-47.
Yeah, AK-47. Like, when people talk about weapons and they say AK-47, I think of the robot. And I'm like, oh, they had a. Oh no, they didn't have a. They didn't have a fucking.
They didn't have a snarky
Snarky
murder bot.
Yeah, I want an AK-47.
Oh, seriously, he was the best part about Knights of the Old Republic.
AK-47 droid. Can we? I want a life size. Oh, HK-47, not AK-47.
Oh, HK-47.
Yeah. I still think of it every time someone says AK-47. Thoughts on Babylon 5 cartoon?
I heard about. I saw the headline, but I didn't read the article. It's certainly a choice. I think he's screwed because of the writer's strike.
Oh, yeah, that kind of sucks, doesn't it?
I mean, that's going to screw over a lot of things. Apparently, though, WGA is not kids shows, so Phineas and Ferb season 5 is still moving forward.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, weird. Look what I just found. Okay. Did
you just find a life-size HK-47?
No. But I was like, okay, can I find a toy of HK-47? There isn't one, but there's a Black Series of this. It's not going to let me do it. It's too many letters. You can, if you look for Black Series HK-87, HK-87 was a droid in The Mandalorian. So there's a Black Series toy of that, which is kind of cool because it's kind of a throwback.
And HK-87 would have been the like, what did HK-40 meat bag? Was that what they always called?
I think so. It's been too long. Yeah, it was meat bag. Darth Malik was the original meat bag. Oh, yeah, here's a pin. This has to be, I kind of want this for my leather jacket.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Like 12 fucking people would get the reference.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, so there is there's a sitcom that ran for like a whole season that Mrs. Pastor and I both love, and it was called LA to Vegas. It was this show that like followed a flight crew from LA to Vegas, and like some of the regulars, like Peter Stormare was in it.
Weird.
And like when we got this house, like all of our Wi-Fi stuff is references to this show. And we're kind of just like waiting for someone, like if someone gets the reference, it's like, okay, you are our new best friends.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That makes me happy.
So there, wonder if someone made like a Lego HK-47.
Ooh. There's surely.
Oh, there are a couple. Oh, but they're all like the weird minifigs. I don't like the custom minifig thing. Just weird.
Yeah, it's not great. I wish that there was a. Okay, so there's the BD-1 droid, which is my favorite droid in Star Wars because of the video game. There's a Lego BD-1 that's life size. That's like the only life size BD-1 you can find anywhere,
Oh, weird.
and it's super irritating. I mean, you can have people like 3D print them and stuff, but lame.
There apparently exists a HK-47 like figure.
A build a droid figure? Is that the
Yeah.
one? Yeah.
The one that's like $200.
Oh, damn.
Yeah.
HK-47 Lego compatible head that you can print yourself to put on a Lego. I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Is HK-47 sentient?
Obviously.
His sentience was too powerful to control. Weird.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so it was the droid factory thing that they did. Each wave included a specific piece of a droid, and one of them was HK-47, and it was
That makes sense. That makes sense. I was gonna see if I could show you. I think this is on a public Facebook page. Let me see. Hold on 1 second. My friend.
I will not hold on. I will not 1 second.
Fine. My friend that collects the Regal Robot life-size busts.
Mm-hmm.
He has, we believe, he has the only full collection on the planet.
Oh, wow.
And he posted a bunch of pictures for May the 4th. And I thought he posted them to their page, but I don't see them. I guess I could look at... I could steal one of his poster... Or here. I will steal this. See if this link works.
All right.
It's not going to because it's too long here. I will put this in the general chat. See if it... Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Like, it's all of them. It's everything. And that's not even his whole collection. He has an entire... He has this huge piece of furniture that's made for storing, like, really fancy, like, dishes.
Yeah.
And it's all of the lightsabers.
That's awesome.
It's so cool.
I would not be surprised if he has a touch of the tism.
He might have a touch of the tism. He might. We might all have a touch of the tism.
I mean, anyone who's paid attention to us for this long probably does.
If you keep showing up, you probably have the tism.
Speaking of, if you've ever wanted to get into like BattleTech fiction, like now is the time. Humble Bundle is doing like 60 BattleTech novels if you pay over like $18.
They've been having some good stuff lately. You don't have the tism? Is that the problem saying?
Oh,
are you wanting the tism? We could probably give you the tism if we like, I don't know. Can we like rub your forehead or something? Is that, is that how you share the tism?
One of the vaccines he got in the military should have gave it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there has to be something in one of those vaccines that
like
fucked you
one
up.
of those had to have.
Yeah. Or does that... Yeah, that's autism, right? That you get from the shots.
Yeah, it was from the shots, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
You get it's the autism from the MMR and the 5G from the COVID one.
Yes. I mean, that's makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
This is ridiculous.
It really is.
Rockoculous. Recockless. I'm trying to think if there's been anything interesting at work.
I mean, I've had interesting things at work, but I have to be careful what I talk about.
How's that sword of Damocles going?
Like,
So, and I don't know if this is not a topic that should be discussed. By all means, just say I'm not going to say anything, and I will absolutely move on. Is the issue that that you're not an asshole and they are basically?
So I do think I think it is fundamentally a conflict of how one views Christianity as existing. And because of okay. There is a theory that I don't necessarily ascribe to, but also isn't necessarily entirely inaccurate. That every 500 years or so, Christianity has a rather painful reset that happens to it. We're roughly 500 years out from the Reformation. Roughly 500 years before that was the Crusades. Roughly 500 years before that was Constantine. And I think that's just somebody making something up that vaguely fits history and isn't actually a reality. But we're also facing some, like, on the whole, the arrival of the internet had not John Constantine.
The other one.
Did he have a first name? Hold on. Now I'm curious.
Now I want a dog that I can name Kiabu.
His name was Flavius. Flavius Constantine.
He was a super Flavius Constantine.
Yes.
Was he Cherry Flavius?
There is, like, the world that we live in is incredibly secularized. Like, it's just like the supernatural isn't really a thing that we generally are about. And Christianity has had a very difficult time adapting to that. I mean, look at the Satanic Panic. Look at all of the. Did he have a soul patch that he called his Flavius Flavor Saver?
Oh, I hope so.
But and I think there is a sense where, like, whenever anything is happening, there's going to be a reactionary element, and you tend to get groups that are looking at the same problem and coming up with opposite solutions to the problem. And if I'm being as objective as possible, like, we won't know which solution was the right one for another, like, 200 years.
I mean, I feel like
we can guess, but, like, it's one of those things where, like, for instance, the Protestant Reformation did a whole lot of good, but it also did a whole lot of harm.
I feel like, though, if you just, believe it or not, if you just do what Jesus said to do.
I mean, right.
Like, if you're just nice to people and just try to be nice to people and help people, that, like, you'll always kind of end up on the right side of history.
And
I don't know.
Part of the problem is in the course of centuries, there has developed a strong sense of there are certain things that are wrong and certain things that are right. And because that happens to be a convenient way to control people, the church has largely enjoyed playing that situation up.
Right.
That there are things that you can do and things that you can't do. And I think Christianity is kind of facing an existential crisis at the moment. And really no one's handling it well.
I mean, aren't we all kind of facing an existential crisis at the moment? Christianity needs to get the fucking line.
You're not wrong. But there is like, there is definitely something happening right now that was not happening even 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And it has caused a lot of people to get scared. And in their fear, it is causing them to head in more authoritarian directions. Because let's be honest, that happens. If you're scared and you don't want to know what to do, and someone shows up and says, do this thing, that means you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Yeah, that's fair. I don't like it, but
right.
That's fair.
Like, I don't like it either, but like, I hate that I understand what's happening.
It's just
because it makes like I don't think like even the issues that I'm coming across, like as much as things feel like they are personal,
right.
They're really not.
Right. Yeah. It is just, it's weird though, because it feels like, as with most things currently, the problem isn't the people, but it's the organization that is created from those people. Like,
well, and remember that like there is a large and vocal group of Christians who are actively trying to legislate people into being Christian.
Yeah.
And that never works.
No.
That has never worked. I don't think it will ever work.
It's almost like it pushes people away from whatever you're trying to do.
And even if it draws people in, it doesn't really seem to be the kind of system that's described in the Bible. Like every time a theocratic, priestocratic, because I don't like anytime a government run by religion has happened, it has gone badly for the government and the religion.
Yeah. Yeah. That is fair.
And it might have there might be short-term gains, but there are rarely long-term gains.
But are there short-term gains?
Oh no, absolutely. Well, I mean, if you are trying to eradicate the existence of transgender people, like if that is your goal, that folk are going to achieve that in the short term with the stuff that's happening right now. And that just sucks.
Yeah. It's really weird to me. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we've talked these same things into whole so many times.
Oh yeah.
And it's just it's never-endingly frustrating to be looking at people who are punching themselves in the face over and over again and then complaining about the pain.
Well, and I will say though that on the more progressive and liberal side of Christianity, they also seem to mostly be punching themselves in the face, but in different ways.
I mean,
like, so I think about the kinds of churches who are, So there was a church a couple years ago that they had a pastor who started doing sermons, especially children's sermons, in drag. And I'm like, you know what you're doing. Like, and it's frustrating to me because it makes church into something about drag,
Right.
and makes it not about God anymore.
And see,
like-
that's weird for me because it's like you're taking a group of people who are being stepped on and kicked around and then like using them as leverage or using them as like, I don't know.
And this is the cycle that inevitably happens. It is we're progressive Christians. Look at how we support this marginalized group until that marginalized group says, we don't want to be supported like that. And then they say, okay, bye-bye.
Yeah, that's fair.
There's a dude, I think he's still a pastor. I don't know if he's actually been removed or not yet. They were threatening it for a while. So it was this guy, he became like the darling of the liberal form of the liberal Lutheran denomination. His name was Lenny Duncan. His name, I think, still is Lenny Duncan. But he was a pastor, and he wrote a letter to the church. He is a black pastor, and the Lutheran Church is historically the whitest denomination in America.
Yeah.
And he wrote a letter basically saying, like, hey, we need to deal with this. This is me, a black person, telling you, the whitest church in America, that the way you interact with race has not been great.
Right.
And they publicized it, and they made it a huge big deal. But then he started saying to the leadership, you're not actually supporting me. You're selling my book, but you're not doing anything you're not actually doing anything about the things that I've been calling for you to do in the book that you're so excited about selling.
Yeah.
And they've been kind of trying to get rid of him ever since. Like it, and this is, and I keep seeing this happen. And like, I worry for, this one pastor who is doing church in drag, that he's going to end up in the same boat as soon as he starts like getting out of line.
Yeah.
And starts actually criticizing, like, you think you're helping, but we don't actually need to be helped like that.
It just feels really, I don't know. Feels like they're kind of, I don't even know what the word is.
It's tokenizing.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. But like the fact
people
that
like Driscoll will always keep landing on their feet because he tells people what they want to hear.
he has a church in Arizona. Of course he's in Arizona. And like we just like everything.
Didn't you go to high school with him, saying?
Wasn't there something weird about that?
There was some connection between you and him.
It's just weird too, like I don't know.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, my therapist decided the other day that maybe I should just start my own thing. Which you've been telling me for years.
See, I've told you a million times, man.
I know.
So what is it like for just as a thought experiment? What would it take? Like if you
incredibly little. John Oliver basically did a show about it on how to start your own church.
But it would probably get you in trouble doing that.
Oh, absolutely. I would definitely need I would need to find a source of paying my house payment other than the position that I currently have.
Right. So
Yep.
See, now my brain is doing that thing.
Oh, don't. Mine has been too.
Because, like, I know there's nothing that is going to come out of my mouth that you haven't already, like,
Probably
processed, generated, found all the things for, and put away in a filing cabinet somewhere in the back of your brain.
Yeah, there's a big filing cabinet back there.
But, like, if imagine a scenario where your YouTube channel takes off and you get enough subscribers on your YouTube channel that you can tightly cover your income.
Yeah.
Then at that point, you wouldn't be confined to the thing. This thing.
Well, and I have to laugh because the kind of thing that I would love to do if money was not an issue, and paying house payments was not an issue, would make a much better doctoral project than anything that I can do right now. Like, that would be interesting. That might get me a book deal. Like,
So what would you do if money was not an object?
so the very short version, like, and in its absolute simplest form, is to exist as a community so that people can be who they are, be loved and accepted for who they are, but also be drawn into this thing that is happening in the world, that announces that just the absolute shit that our world is not all there is.
Okay.
Like a place that would actually show, like a place that, like, if somebody just walks in from nowhere, and is like, hey, I don't have a place to stay, I'm homeless, and can just be like, oh, well, we've got an apartment complex, we'll just put you up for a week. Like,
Right.
that somebody in that community, like, just has a resource to be like, I've got a spare room in my garage, you live there now.
Right.
And there's none of that, like, hemming and hawing about, like, well, if you give somebody a handout, then they'll just only learn to take handouts. But, like, then actually takes it from, like, okay, now you have an address. Now, because you have an address, you can get a job.
Right.
When you have a job, you can get a car. Until you get a car, we are going to make sure that you can get from your address to your, like...
I was just
And
having this
actually-
conversation earlier today. What the fuck?
But, like, it... And now that's and that, honestly, like, that's a lot of what this book that I just finished reading is about. Like, it is basically arguing that when you get a group of people together, like, you will have the kind of resources available to you to do things like that.
Right.
People just have to want to.
Right.
And, like, I do think Christianity is excellently positioned to give people a reason to want to. Because that's kind of the whole point.
Right. People had a knee-jerk reaction to an animal charity leasing an area currently being used by homeless to camp. They said they don't want to support an animal charity to pay for homeless people. Turns out the homeless charity has no design to do anything with the homeless. Oh, the animal, not homeless charity.
I know I have heard from folk that most homeless shelters do not allow animals. So a lot of times, people who are homeless, in order to keep their beloved animal, who is the only stability in their entire life, would sleep on the street because otherwise they'd have to give up their animal.
So it's weird because I see a lot of people, like, I'm squarely on leftist TikTok, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of the conversations that happen on leftist TikTok, when they're not talking about like fighting the current political system, when they're just kind of braining out what being on the left is, a lot of it is that it's this community stuff. It's, you know,
one of the like distinguishing things, because it is real easy, like, and this is a thing that I'm kind of struggling with. It's like what makes doing this stuff as a Christian different from like kind of generic leftist things.
right.
And I do think that there is baked into my own view of Christianity, like there is this there is this sense of, you know, like, the only way I know how to describe it, it's this being with someone in whatever situation. It is like a presence that it's an invitation to kind of just exist as who you are and be accepted as that.
Right.
Without any designs on that. Like, I accept you and I expect you to do better. Like, that's none of that. It's like, it's just,
Right.
This is who you are. And that comes from, you know, that's essentially what, I mean, that's essentially what, like, in the Christian worldview, that's what Jesus did. Like, Son of God being with humans and, like, not actually really requiring much aside from doing what he did.
Yeah.
And the extra stuff got added on.
There's a fine line between charitable helping and being condescendingly white, for lack of a better term, where you feel like you have to help those less fortunate.
Oh, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, white savior is like absolutely something that Christianity has fallen prey to.
I think it's super important. Like,
That's what, oddly enough, that's what this book was all about.
that's one thing
like,
I think about a lot with you and I sitting down and having these conversations is,
we're two white dudes.
yeah, we're two white dudes who both, you know, like, we've had rough shit happen to us, but for the most part, I would say that the two of us have lived fairly good lives. You know,
Yep.
I've never had to live out of a car or on the street.
Right. Well, and there's
We've got saying.
see,
Saying
that's
can be our
the-
token, not white
There
guy.
we go. And I think that there is a trap of and this is one of the books that I've been reading for this round of classes. It's talking about, like, there's working for someone, working with someone, and then there's being for someone and being with someone. And potential sexual innuendo aside, so one of them is like, if you're working for someone, then you're like going in and you're saying, I know what you need better than you.
Yeah.
And that's generally how white people have done social
Everything.
justice, everything. Yeah. Like, it's coming in, like, It's the white person coming into the black neighborhood and saying, you need to do this and then you'll do better.
Yeah.
Working with someone is slightly better, where you go in and you spend time with them and you like figure out what they actually say they need, and helping them do that.
Right.
The least involved form is being for someone, and honestly, that's a lot of what I find myself doing, where like I support a better system for homeless people to find housing and whatnot, but I'm not actually doing anything to make that happen.
Yeah.
There is value in that, but it's also like very much is the least effort form of interacting with someone.
I wonder about that too, because I feel like there's a lot of causes that I have very strong opinions about, right? But I don't do anything. In fact, I kind of try to keep myself out of the way because I'm a fucking white dude, right? And a lot of the things that I like, my voice is not needed in a lot of those places. But I feel like there's still like, there has to be an opportunity for me to do something, right? Like,
right. And that's where this fourth category starts to come in, right? And it's that, so the example that's given in the book, it's this journalist who goes into the situation thinking that he's going to write this story about what it is to be homeless in wherever he was at. I don't even remember where it was. But he ends up making a connection to this one dude. And they spend like several months just hanging out. Like, the journalist isn't trying to better his life. The journalist is actually living as a homeless person during this time too. But the journalist like went into the situation and like was just there with the guy.
yeah,
Like, if he needed some money, they'd give him some money. If the journalist needed some money and the guy had like $20, he'd give him they were actually sharing life together.
yeah. I mean, it makes me think of that, the dude that converted all those KKK members, black dude.
Oh,
who just started like befriending KKK guys,
Yeah.
and like just him being a part of their life made them realize like, oh no, he's just a dude like me. Like, that's all it took. That's all it took was for him to just exist in the orbit of these people, and it changed their way of thinking.
And there's a sense in that where you're not actually trying to fix anything. Because I mean, I think about like all of the various evangelism techniques that I've heard from like whatever seminar, and everything is like, and the whole point is to get this person to become a Christian.
Right.
And the readings for this one class are basically like, throw all that out. Like, that's not something that we should be worrying about.
Yeah.
Like, our job is to just be who we are. And while like there is an invitation that's extended, when that invitation is extended, it's always also clear that no is a perfectly acceptable answer that does not shut down the relationship.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Interesting.
And it kind of changes, like, well, I mean, I think of what we've been doing all of these years, right? Like, there is, I hope that you don't have any, like, you don't think I'm trying to convert you. Like, I hope not.
Every day.
I mean, okay, aside from the obvious times.
No,
aside from the times when I send you all the crazy tracks. Like,
come as you are. Yes.
yeah,
Exactly.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
And
and
fish
it's
don't
not
have
even
any
that
feelings.
like it's come as you are, and if you never change, that's fine.
Yeah. I feel like
Because a lot of times come as you are ends up with that like come as you are but leave different, like, and that's not
come
that gets sketchy.
if you keep following those lyrics, it's come as you are, come as you were,
Yep.
come as I want you to be.
Yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
where it falls apart.
That's where it falls apart. Like,
Well, and it's weird. I keep seeing people talking about libraries and how libraries are the only place left that you can just exist. You can go and just exist. And
Right.
there's no expectation of you to be working or doing anything in particular. You can just go and be alive. And I find that fascinating because that's, I think, the environment that people are looking for is like, I just need someplace to go be.
I was reading about the way that the church in Holland has been adapting, because Europe is overwhelmingly not Christian, right?
Right.
And so churches are trying to figure out what to do and like how do they continue to exist. And there are places that are like they're renting out their sanctuary for raves. They're renting out their sanctuary for like secular movie nights.
Yeah.
Because it's just like, you know what? We trust in a God that like the sacredness of this space will not be defiled by what happens in it.
Right.
Like, so use the building, whatever, have fun.
There was a church back in Fort Collins, Colorado, growing up that used to always have punk shows. And we would go to these punk shows. And like the first time I went, I was like, this is going to be so weird. Like going to a church for a punk show. Come on. It's going to be like these weird Christian punk bands and everyone's going to be acting
Fort Collins
strange.
too. Like they're a little squirrely out there.
But like, have fun saying. It was interesting because like I walked in and instantly realized that like the people who worked at the church were there to like just if we needed something or like something happened, someone fell over and hurt themselves, they were there to help.
Yeah.
But like they didn't care about the language being used, they didn't care about what was happening. Like they just provided a space, and in their minds it's better that they're here than fuck knows where else.
Well, and I think like, can you imagine, right? Like, you go to a church at a punk show, like when you're like in high school or college age or whatever, and then like years later, you end up going to a funeral, and you go back to that church and like for a funeral at that church, and you're like,
yeah,
oh shit, I went to a punk show here like 40 years ago, right?
I remember seeing the dwarves here. What the hell?
Like there's something to that, but I think part of the problem is like so many people's perception of like who God is so very small.
Yeah.
And you hear this like somebody, I remember when around like the last presidential election, there were so many folks that like, Joe Biden's going to destroy God. I'm like, how weak is God that Joe Biden can destroy him?
Dude can't even walk down a set of stairs, and you're worried about him destroying God? Come on, man.
Like, and I'm just like so flabbergasted by that. Like we have to like go through all these hoops. And I'm like, but it's God.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about that too when, you know, they're trying to pass laws to make sure people aren't trans. And I'm like, and because it's a defilement of God. And I'm like, do you really think he gives two shits?
I broke somebody once because, and it's I know, like objectively I know that this is not like the right example. But I'm just like, if a kid's born with a tail, do we say that God planned for that kid to have a tail?
I mean, most of the time they just chop him off.
Right. So like, why is it different with genitals?
What I find interesting is, so now in Florida,
oh yes,
it is
Florida.
it is illegal for any doctors there to provide any form of gender affirming care.
Wait, so does that mean you can't get boob jobs?
Yes. technically, which is what I find interesting.
Yeah.
Because technically, any kind of like the boob job would be a great example. Erectile dysfunction.
I have a hard time with the folk that are using that as the example, but like for some people that might be gender affirming care, but like, yeah.
But like, there's a lot of people who are like, if my dick's not hard, then I'm not a real man.
Right.
I'm gonna take this pill to make my dick hard.
But then you get like the unintended consequences, right? Like the fact that labor and delivery hospitals in Idaho don't have doctors anymore because they don't know what they can and can't do.
Yeah. And Florida's losing doctors left and right as well. I don't know. That's obviously a bomb that's going to blow up in someone's face. But
and in some ways, like I said, like I understand, like these folk are so afraid that the thing that they love is going away, whatever that thing is.
Right.
And they've bought into so much of the fear. Like they've bought into the, like, all of these things are things to be afraid of.
Yeah. And there's the thing where once you put a bunch of time into something, you're going to keep sticking with it even if you know it's wrong because you've already got all this investment in it.
Sunken cost fallacy?
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of sunken cost fallacy going on the right now.
I think in some ways, but I think for a lot of, I won't necessarily say for like the politicians and whatnot. I really do think a lot of them are playing things up for the likes and the lulz.
Yeah.
I mean, but I think for the average person, like they actually are true believers. Like the average person that's in those circles, like they really do genuinely think that they are doing the right things.
Yeah. I mean, Hitler did too. So I know everything goes to Hitler, but
yeah.
It's true.
But it's, and then I look at that, it's like, how do I get people for 10 to 15 minutes a week? Like
that in itself is like, fuck.
Like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah. Yeah. Not only that, but like you're given this is what kills me, right? This is the thing that I think that is in the end the thing that there needs to be a solution for, right? Is not only is it you get people for 15 minutes a week. It's you get 15 minutes a week with these people in a group, not one-on-one, in a group.
Yep.
With a predefined thing that you're talking about.
Right.
While there are people sitting behind you telling you not to say the things that you want to say.
Yeah.
I can't imagine the frustration.
But also, like, even without that, even just looking at it, like, if I could say whatever I wanted, and like I was able, whatever I wanted to say, if I have 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And do you know the people who watch cable news, how much
It's a lot.
they usually watch?
A lot.
Like it is a lot more
always
than 10
on.
to 15 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like I can't compete with that narrative.
Which is why you have churches that put on rock shows every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's the only way to get attention and to make people remember things and to think differently about stuff.
Another one of the books, because I've so much reading, so much reading. It was talking about the state of churches, and it compared churches to restaurants, and
Okay.
it's so accurate. As you go, let's buy an appetizer of Lutheran this week. Next week we'll try some some Presbyterian shrimp. Like,
Do people do that?
Not so much, but there is like it's so consumerized. Like and that's why you get these rock shows every week, right? Because it's like, how do you stand out from every other church?
Yeah.
And I fall into that trap too. And I was like, but that really shouldn't be what it's about.
Your church, has it got pews in it?
Oh yeah.
Are they bolted to the floor?
Oh yeah.
Shit. That's a good way to throw people off.
Bolts can be undone, but yeah.
Just move all the pews and be like, okay, we're doing it this way.
Yeah, we threatened that. It caused a big problem.
People don't like that, do they?
Well, actually, we wanted to move. We wanted to remove one pew from each side of the church, and then like space everything out so that like you'd get like an extra like 2-3 inches of legroom.
Yeah.
And that was. They're still discussing that.
Is your church packed to the gills? Are there people standing in the back?
But that was one of the things that brought up. Well, like, what if the church gets full again? And I was just like, well, then we'd add another service.
Yeah. What if the church get full? How about we burn that bridge when we cross it? We can worry about that. Would be a good problem to have,
right? Like, I would be ecstatic if we took out some pews and then we had to figure out.
Right. If we take pews out and are all of a sudden full, then we did the right move. That was exactly what we should have done. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but it's just like, yeah, then we'll.
Those are people who put armor on the spots with the bullet holes when the planes come back.
Well, yeah. What was? Do you remember? I love that. Like, it was the bombers in. The bombers in World War II that they'd come back and then they'd armor up all of the places where the bullet holes were, not realizing that like. The ones that made it back
and
were the ones that
one guy who had to have been the autistic guy, right? That dude was autistic.
Absolutely.
And he showed up and he was like, y'all being it's backwards, motherfuckers.
Yeah, armor the places where there's not bullet holes.
We know we can shoot those and they'll make it back here. Dumbasses. Yeah. So, all right. Let's take a break. I need water.
Mm-hmm.
You're out of whiskey or...
Tequila.
Tequila.
Tequila. But I also need more water.
Yes. And then I have another question for you.
Okay. What should we leave basically Reaper with?
Yeah, basically Reaper. That's like Reaper, but you don't have to pay for the full Reaper. You just get the basically
It's
Reaper.
just the basic. It's the basic Reaper. It's the model that consistently misspells things, and not the ones.
I would like to know. Actually, this might this might be productive. Actually, me without the mistakes. No, if you removed all the mistakes, there would be no Reaper.
Yeah.
Reaper. What kind of environment? Let me rewind that.
I really hope someone like turns that backwards, and I want to see what it maybe vaguely sounds like.
Did you see that? Sorry, you fucking ADH'd me off the trail.
Guitar solo that
yes,
played backwards.
Yes, it's crazy, right? My God, I was listening to it and I was like, this is super shitty of this dude to be like playing this solo and making fun of it on TikTok.
Yeah.
Like that's fucked up. And then
backwards.
And I was like, whoa. Okay. Reaper. You don't go to church on a regular basis. I don't even know if you consider yourself a Christian. What would the environment look like if there was a place that you did go to every weekend?
Ooh.
Whether it's religious or not, I don't care about that, but like a place, a community place that you would actually go to every weekend, what would it look like, and what would you be trying to get out of it? What would it be doing for you?
Like what would something need to be to get you to be there every Sunday morning, for instance?
Or afternoon.
Or afternoon. Yeah, let's...
Step one, it's not going to be Sunday morning.
Yeah, every Sunday late evening.
Yeah, okay, yeah. do that, and we'll be right back with water and less bladderfuls.
Yes. Both of those things.
Yeah. Here we go. I do kind of
So
want
are
to
you
get...
done petting your chair?
Yes. I kind of want to get the updated... There's an upgrade you can get for these, and they're like memory foam.
Oh, okay. Because the one thing that like I'm not happy about with this chair is like the armrests are just a little bit off.
Really? These
Like yeah.
these are not as soft as my ones at work.
Oh,
And maybe they
okay.
just need to be broken in. I remember thinking when my chair showed up at work, I was like, this is not going to be comfortable. And after it broke in, I was like, okay, no, it's great.
Yeah.
So maybe it's that, because they're really hard.
Mine just like, and I don't know if it's just like the tier of chair that I got, but sometimes they just like don't quite lock in right.
Oh.
But I don't. Yeah. Actually,
Interesting.
one side of the chair might be too high. I don't know. Too many things to adjust.
Let's see. No pressure on having to be social, just open
yeah.
inclusiveness. Basically ran by someone who has ADHD or was close to someone and gets ADHD. Okay. I hate the pressure to have to socialize and makes me not want to. That's okay.
Yep.
Scott Johnson's Nerdtacular was a pretty good example of an event that I would want to go to every week, just because the atmosphere was so chilled. I did open my window, by the way, so if it gets really loud, I might have to close it.
Oh, okay.
Anyway.
I brought in a fan on our last pause.
It's
to,
very
like,
warm.
Have some air blown on me.
Yeah, it's very warm. I'm hoping a breeze kicks in. So here, There was a cult. I know I've talked to you about peers before. There was a cult where I was growing up, and it was an AA cult.
Oh, yeah, those are...
Pointed at children, which was very weird. But the reason it worked is because they had this environment that was that. They had a place where kids, teenagers and younger, could go just hang out. And there was no expectation of... Like, they would have meetings in a back room. If you wanted to go to a meeting, you could, or you could just sit out front and play skee ball.
Mm-hmm.
And I always enjoyed that part of it.
The skee ball, not the meetings?
Yeah, not the meetings so much. But, like, that kind of environment where, like, there is no expectation. Like, you can literally just be... You can just come and chill if you want. Or if you need to talk to someone about something, you can. If you need...
But, like, without the sketchy cult stuff going on in the back room.
Yeah, without the sketchy cult stuff. Like, meetings would probably be fine, but not those meetings, right? It'd be more like hey, how was your week? What are you up to? What stresses are you having in your life kind of shit? You know what I mean?
Like, what kind of things did they do in the cult meetings?
I mean, it was just AA meetings.
Oh, okay.
But it was AA meetings with, like, the oldest person. The person running the meeting was 18, and everyone else was 16 and under.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, it was just weird. Just weird. And there was a lot of, like, weird shit going on. I mean, the culty stuff was not necessarily the meetings. There was other... Once you'd been there a while, where they started telling you not to hang out with your friends and family and shit like that.
Yeah. And that's always the stuff that gets weird.
Mm-hmm.
Like, anytime you're like, you don't get to hang out with people anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, like, it's one thing, like... There is, like, an aspect of addiction recovery where it's like, maybe you shouldn't, if you're trying to not do drugs, maybe you shouldn't hang out with the people that you used to do drugs with, who are, especially if they're still doing drugs.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's different. Like,
and to me, that's a window of time. You need to do this for a window of time while your body heals from this addiction. And then you can do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, that's very much a, like, this is a thing that is good for you for now, and if you feel like you can do this again, then, like, that's cool.
Some people can't. Some people can.
Exactly.
It's just the way AA always lays it out is you need to cut these people out of your life forever and forget they ever existed.
I'm not a fan of AA.
Me
I know that, like, there are lots of people who AA has helped, but I always feel like AA tends to just make you addicted to AA.
Yes. You are just swapping addictions.
And it's not actually addressing any of the roots of why you are getting addicted to things.
Yes. Okay, so question for you.
All right, question for me.
Or let's just brain this out.
Okay, braining it out.
In order to do something like this, you would need a place to do it.
Place is easy.
How is a place easy?
Oh, you could literally, like, go to a park. Like, place is easy.
True. Brain turned on. We are now fully braining.
All right. Reaper's brain is on. We're ready to go. But no, like, you would want it to be, like, a place that is, like, public adjacent.
Yeah. You would want it to be inside, though.
Right. Like
a public park's probably not going to work.
Well, right, yeah. But, like, it is...
Yeah, meeting hall.
It is ridiculously easy to find places to meet. Even if no one's drinking, like, a bar tends to love to have people in, like, a mid-afternoon. Because then, you know, like, at least people are buying food or something. Like, finding a place to meet is so easy.
So what's the thing in your way?
Oh.
Is it just money?
Hello.
Oh, what did you get?
Right now, the thing in my way is blueberry mini muffins.
Oh, I want a blueberry mini muffin.
Satyr would like blueberry mini muffins. We'll mail them to you in 4 to 6 days.
Okay.
4
I'll
to 6
wait.
business months.
Cafes and coffee shops, those are good.
Yeah.
Bars, restaurants, I guess.
But even like, there are venues that you can rent, especially if you're like in an off-peak time and you don't need anything from them.
All right.
Like, there libraries. Like there are
for sure.
plenty of options for spaces. Like even starting something small, like could literally like be our living room.
Yeah. I mean, I know like my dad's church for years was just a room in a college.
Mm-hmm.
There was like whatever room was empty in that college that day that would fit those people. So what is it that's standing in your way then? What are the steps that it would take for you to have like to get to a point where you would do this?
So one of the first things is people.
Okay.
Like this isn't something like whether it's me finding people, like it is getting that like core group to get things rolling. That core community, which kind of having that core community makes things less sketchy.
Right.
And the side challenge to that is building the kind of community that I want to build, is in direct conflict with the organizations that I work for.
Which is a little weird when you think about it.
Oh, don't tell. Yeah, you don't need to tell me that.
I just wanted to verbalize what's probably been bouncing around in your head for years.
Mm-hmm. It is a side effect of me when I was a depressingly young age that I don't want to think about, having different feelings than I do now in my elder years.
Yeah, that happens to the best of us, believe it or not. We do grow up.
I'm honestly always a little disappointed if there are people who are not doing that.
Yeah. If you have the same beliefs that you did when you were 17 and you're 40, there's something fucking wrong.
Yeah, that's some growth should really have happened.
Yeah. Okay, so you need people and you need a community. So here's where it gets weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because the easy way to do that is to do it online.
Right.
Which brings a whole new set of problems.
Exactly. Because online, while there is a lot you can do online, there's a lot that you can't do online.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been a member of our community who's been going through a whole lot of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to, we all know, but I'm not going to say who because they're not here to give permission.
Yeah. I think all of us have gone through some shit at some point or another.
Right. But like in particular right now, like there's a member of our little community that has been going through some stuff. And there's a lot of ways that we can be there for them. Mm. But there's a whole lot of ways that we can't.
Yeah. No, for sure.
And it would be a lot easier to be that kind of community if we could just like pop over and have some coffee while stuff's going on and they're just chilling.
Yeah. I also think it's hard because we have a really small community. It's really just a handful of friends, right? Like we don't really have a community. And I think that bears problems, right? Because there's only so much each person can contribute to a community. Mm-hmm. So when you've got a small
there's some mass that opens up opportunities.
Yeah. So then, okay.
And that's it's really like problem 1 and problem 1A.
Yeah.
Like it's that like
Nubs.
She's having fun.
Here, I'll give her something quieter to play with.
for something quieter to play lift, she'll end up on your keyboard.
Probably.
But yeah, like this is, it's the fact that my income is tied to an organization that is contrary to what this community would need to be.
Okay. So then we
Like
move into
these two things they go hand in hand.
So then we need to move to. Okay, so online not gonna work really. It would be really hard. The easiest way to build a community quickly in real life is to build a community around a cause.
Yeah,
Because people like causes.
people do like causes. And there's also like causes, locations, and shared interest. Those are the things that build community.
And it feels like if you're building this kind of community, the cause really needs to be the focal point, right? Like there needs to be a core cause to kind of kick everything off. And then once you have overcome that problem, you are left with a community that is somewhat ideologically aligned, and you can drag that in a direction.
Although the trouble with building around a cause is if you accomplish that cause, then there is pivoting gets difficult.
But it's easier to pivot
It is easier to pivot when the community already exists. That is
and
true.
to lose a bunch of people in the process and still have more people than you started with.
Right. Seeing as I'm starting with me.
Well, I'm down for whatever, man.
Well, right, but yeah.
I'll fly out for the weekends.
There you go.
I can
Pop
just
up and
Skype in, right? It's fine.
Yeah, there we go. With Skype. Showing your age there, boss.
Hey, Skype still exists. You can go download it right now.
Does it?
It does.
ICQ still exists too, but nobody's using
I
it.
mean, we could start an ICQ room.
That's what we need. That's what we need. We need a bunker ICQ room.
Dude, how weird would it be if that actually took off?
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Fucking strange.
I still remember my number somehow.
That's so weird.
I don't know what, like, of all the things that I could have space in my brain for, how do I still remember 44276560?
That is horrifying.
Yeah, it is absolutely. I don't remember, like, some of the phone numbers I had as a kid, but I remember that.
Yeah. It's probably more important to you than your old phone numbers were.
Oh, maybe.
And it's a smaller number, so that helps.
Yeah. But yeah, I do not know why that number is just branded into my brain.
Okay, so I got another question for you then. What's your plan?
Right now, I don't have one. There is no plan.
You have to have gone through some in your head. You've probably gone through all of them in your head. Every possible
I
scenario.
have gone through some plans in my head.
Which one is on the top of the pile right now?
So I actually, this is really kind of hilarious. There is a pastor friend of mine who left his prior denomination because he felt like the prior denomination was getting to be too liberal for him. And he started his own church.
Really?
And I kind of want to pick his brain to find out how that went.
Wait a minute. So, wow. So it's literally like the exact opposite of your problem.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I kind of want to pick his brain over food to see how that went.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if he was at a church and took the church with him. I don't know if he started from scratch.
Do you feel like there are people in your congregation that are more aligned with what you actually believe? Or no?
Ish. It is because of the environment that the church is. It is folk are careful.
Right. That's fair.
Yeah.
It sucks.
A lot of the people who were affirming left when the church switched its affiliation. understandably so. Like,
So
that's a thing that makes sense to do.
so how does the affiliation thing work? Because
So
you're
it's-
technically affiliated with kind of the right wing side of a thing, right?
Yeah, so there are various like organizations of churches. Some of them more structured than others. But it's generally like in theory, there are opportunities to pool resources and do more together than one could do apart.
Okay.
It's also an opportunity for like when I was having issues recently, I gave a phone call to like the person who is the like next level up, kind of the person who's supposed to function as my pastor, as like the pastor's pastor.
Gotcha.
And that, admittedly, that was an incredibly helpful conversation. And so those organizations, and it's kind of like there's usually agreement on like we believe these things and we say these things are wrong. Like, and it's and there's 50 bazillion of them out there, like of these organizations.
So would it be hard for you to like contact someone and just say, "Hey, I want to be on that side now"? Like, how does that work?
Some groups are more complicated than others.
Okay. And I'm assuming that yours is one of the complicated ones.
Very much so. And I... So... I have... You might not know this about me, but I have a bit of an independent streak.
I never would have put that. I never would have guessed that.
No,
It's weird.
right? Like, it's such a surprise.
Well, I should probably bear my cards on the table too. I have a problem with authority.
Yeah, so I don't have a problem with authority as long as I'm the one in authority.
Right. As long as they believe everything that I believe, we're fine.
So the more liberal Lutheran option, Reaper goes, "Oh, it's shocking." The more liberal Lutheran option tends to be it tends to have a more top-down structure that I do not think I would do well in.
Really? Even if you wouldn't be having these ideological problems.
The way that there is not a lot of freedom for pastors to choose where they end up.
Oh, I see.
Like in that organization, like if there's a church that I was interested in, I would just have to hope that they reached out to me.
Oh,
There's no
weird.
mechanism for like a pastor to apply at a church. Like you basically like churches approach you and you can either say yes or no. And you're kind of encouraged to not say no.
That's really weird.
And like some places are more free about that than others, but that's generally how it goes. And I'm like, no, that's not for me.
No
Yeah,
church.
no church Tinder.
That would be. Hey, that's a fucking app idea right there.
Right?
I wonder.
I don't think so.
There's your money
there-
maker right there.
There's and I'm sure there's a lot of non-denominational churches that would absolutely love that and not love funding, like would love the service but would not love what they're funding.
They would never need to know.
Right. I'll just have to say, I'm a pastor.
Yeah, that's all
Look
they
at
need
my
to
app
know.
that helps churches and pastors connect with one another.
Yes, that's all you have to say.
But all the different denominations do that process a little bit differently. Like the one I'm in is basically like there is a job board when congregations posts when they haven't. There's like a standardized form that the congregations fill out. They post it to the job board. Pastors have a standardized form that they fill out. So it kind of takes the like resume writing out of it. It's just like
It's like
you're filling in the blanks of
It's
the
like the
information that seems relevant.
classifieds at the back of the Bible.
Kind of, yeah. And then that, like, if a church is interested in a specific pastor who says that they're looking for another church, that they can reach out to them. If the pastor says that they're interested in a church, they can just send, like, they swap profiles.
They swipe right.
They swipe right or left. But so it's very much like, it's not unlike a normal job search. It's just a little bit more standardized
Right.
because they're kind of standardizing it to make sure that, like, churches and pastors are asking the right questions of one another, even
Right.
though I don't think they're generally asking the right questions of one another in that process.
Also, I just realized that church tender is a little black metal for this idea. Like, we don't want to put the idea of, like, burning churches down
Ooh,
into
yeah, that's
people's
right.
minds. Like, that's not great, I don't think.
Right. They wouldn't
Church
like
grinder. There we go. That's a little...
Yes, that's perfect. Church grinder.
See, now I just imagine, like, a meat grinder that you throw churches in and it comes out like, like chewed up church meat.
Well, there was plenty of fish. That
Plenty
was
of
one.
fish, yeah. Yeah. Plenty of
Plenty of
churches.
churches. Yeah.
POC. Totally different meaning for POC.
Church harmony.
Church harmopna.
What was the other one? They got bought by somebody. It was like one of the free ones, but like was totally not like super sketchy.
Oh,
I know that
Bumble.
narrows it. No, it was
Was it
before
Bumble?
Bumble. Okay, Cupid.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Oh.
God.
Okay, Jesus.
Are you listening now? So how do we fix it? What do we do? How do we do this? What?
Like I don't know.
Like, do you even think that your community is big enough? Like, your physical area is big enough to handle the kind of community that you want to create?
Yes.
Okay.
Because this kind of community does best when it's not huge.
Okay.
It doesn't really function when you get over that, like, people aren't people stage.
Right. That's fair.
Because that's kind of the whole point. Like, it's to, like, have...
I mean, that just so you know, that sounds like something that would come out of the figurehead of a cult. We gotta keep the numbers small.
I thought cults want big numbers.
I mean, I don't know. Do they?
I always thought they did.
I don't know how that works.
Because if you can get lost in the crowd, then you can get manipulated easier, right?
I always thought it
Like,
was
if
the
you
other
can,
way
like-
around. That, like, you wanted to keep it small so that you could keep control over each individual person.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Like, I guess it's
that's
the
it.
difference between, like, a big cult and, like, a death cult, right? Like, death cults
Right.
tend to be small. Like, they're
like, yeah.
families.
But, like, the big cults, like...
Like Scientology. Sorry.
was the one that I thought of.
Like Mormonism.
But yeah, like, it's... And then it's the...
Just don't Jim Jones it.
Because it needs to be big enough to be the kind of community that has, like, resources available to it.
Right. It needs to be big enough that it can grow. And to
Yeah.
do that, it needs to have resources.
But also, like, it does mean that, like... the bigger it is, the easier it is for it to turn toxic.
Right.
But that's anything. Like, that's not, like...
So how many people do you know IRL
In the meat space.
in the meat space that you feel like would either be on board from the get-go or would be like, oh yeah, just need a couple conversations and they'd be showing up at least to try it out?
Oh, at the moment, like, none.
Well, damn, dude.
That's part of the problem. Oh, dude, it's been a rough year.
But, like, is that because you just haven't really pushed it?
Yeah, like, part of it, like, we haven't, because, like, when we were living in the rental, like it was really hard. One, it was hard to like get out and do things because we lived out in the boonies. And two, it was like, well, we know we're only going to be here for like a year. Like,
Right. Don't want to do a whole lot.
yeah.
Now you got a house.
And now we got a house. So we really do need to like, just, I mean, one, for our own like stability and like, live our best lifeness. Like we do need to start making those connections.
I was gonna say, do you have you made friends and stuff out there?
Oh no, not at all.
Oh wow. Okay.
Like, I mean, we're in that like awkward age range, like
Yeah.
because we don't have kids,
Right.
and like we should have kids, like, so we don't have like school as a way to make friends. Work and church are out for me.
Right.
Because that like gets awkward.
Yeah.
Um,
What is Mrs. Pastor doing?
right now, so she left a job that was not great for her mental health.
That's fair.
Yeah. And we're all very proud of her for doing that.
Yeah. We like that. We like moves for mental health.
Yeah. So right now she's just like doing house stuff,
Okay.
which is good because I
There's
very
probably a
much
lot
don't
of
have
house
time
stuff
do
to be
house
done
stuff.
right
Yeah. Like,
What if what if she did it? Like
yes, takes care of brains.
like part of the awkwardness of this is that it is really hard for you to put this framework in place without the people around you that are paying your bills getting mad.
Right.
So, what if she did it?
Well, and there is that is a way to skirt around things for a bit.
For a little while, just long enough to get the framework in place.
And that's certainly a possibility. But there's also like it's
Is your current situation financially stable? Okay.
I mean it's much more stable when she's working.
Right.
Like we're like
Like it's manageable, but probably not a great life.
like we're fine. But we would like to be putting more in savings.
Right. The tone that you said the word fine, like that was the definition that I needed.
Yeah.
We're fine? Like, gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
If any more surprised code violations come up, we might not be.
I mean,
but
yeah,
yeah,
that
like
was
when-
expensive. That's fucking expensive, bro.
We very much bought like we bought a house that was well under our budget, like well under what we approved for that was within our budget. We have money from our last house that like existed to be used on the house. So like we're not put ourselves in a position where we're in trouble.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, like it's definitely something like that I'm much more mulling around in my head.
Right.
But it's also new and scary, and I don't like new or scary.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What were we talking about the
they're
tism earlier? What?
Yeah, right. But the actual like mechanics of it are surprisingly easy.
Yeah.
But it's
It feels like one of those things that once you're in the pool, it feels good.
right.
Getting in the pool always sucks. Always.
Well, and it's there's always there's always that voice in the back of your head that's like, no one wants to listen to you.
Yeah.
You don't have anything to offer. Like,
on the plus side,
That probably will keep me from being a cult leader.
I mean, no, I was gonna say, like, on the plus side, it it doesn't sound like you want to start a church the way that most people think about church.
Right.
It doesn't sound like you want to create something in which people would be coming to listen to you.
Because that isn't that doesn't seem to be working.
Right.
Like that model just doesn't seem to be what's going to function moving forward.
Yeah. Ooh, I wonder.
Although I do like being listened to.
I mean, you could still talk.
Right.
But you don't have to
that's-
worry
yeah,
about,
that's-
like, you being the reason that people are
it's
coming.
not, and even that's not supposed to be the reason why church exists, but it's very much like things are just very pastor driven.
Yeah. I still think that, okay, when I was back in Seattle and I got my my internet reverend, like I had a moment where I was like, what would my church look like? Right? Like what would it look like? What would it function like, and how would it work? And I always came back to it being more of a group conversation than one person talking, right?
Right.
Like, sure, let's pick a thing. Like, if you want it to be Bible oriented, cool. Pick a thing out of the Bible and let's have a conversation about it and work our way through it and all leave knowing a little more than we came here with. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And whereas church, for the most part, most of them that I've been to, it's a dude standing in front of everyone. Yeah. And there's not really
there's not a lot of it's not an environment for interaction.
Yeah. That's why I was asking if your pews were screwed down, because I was like, if you just made a circle and said, you know what, this is how it's going to be. Like, I want you looking at each other, not me.
Yeah.
Because you should be here for each other, not me.
So when
I know, damn my
church meetings get described in the Bible, they are meals.
Yeah.
Like they are when the early church met together, it was around food.
The only time I think of
hanging out, like
the only time, like when I think of the things that I know from the Bible, which mind you is not a lot of it.
Yeah.
But the things that I think of when I think of like Jesus and the Bible, the only thing that comes close to him preaching or being like a preacher in my eyes is the Sermon on the Mount.
Yeah.
Beyond that, it was more like just hanging out with your friends and talking about shit.
Okay.
Which is always weird to me that like church now is and all the things and the singing and the books and the da-da-da-da-da and okay, see you next week.
Kind of Constantine's fault.
Fuck him.
It's when, when Christianity became popular and it, like, there's so much that goes into, like, the robes and whatnot that pastors wear and, like, all of that. And you know what it literally is? It is a frozen moment in time. Like, it is modeled after the clothes that were worn in, like, the 5th century around Rome. Like,
yeah.
Like it is, and it just never like let that go.
Yeah.
And having a chance to get away from a lot of that like churchy baggage.
Mm-hmm.
Like still having like, and that's not to say that like you get rid of the ritual entirely. Like there is something about like the tie to something that people have been doing for 2,000 years, right? Like, but doing it in such a way that like when you do it, people know why.
Right. There's a lot of conversation about that in the Satanic Temple organization, because there's a lot of ritual involved, but it's very designed to be personal. and to be more of like a physical act to coincide with other things that you're doing, like working through problems or whatever. Which, by the way, I left all of those groups.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I couldn't take it anymore. Which is odd because the main reason I left is because there was no way for me to be involved in the way that I wanted to be involved.
Interesting.
In order to become a member, I had to attend a physical gathering, and I refused to do that.
Oh.
I did see the last weekend was SatanCon, and I'm not gonna lie, the videos that I've seen, it's that thing about modern Satanism that I hate, and it's just fucking cringy. Everything about it is fucking cringy. And
I guess like I haven't seen a lot of interactions with folk from the Satanic Temple. I mean, I see like there's the folk that start to like circle back around to the alt-right that I see.
Yeah.
There's the folk that like have just very obviously not dealt with their trauma from Christians.
Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. It's not discussed enough in those circles either.
Yeah, like, but it's very rare that I've seen a couple interviews that a buddy of mine has done with like folk from the Church of Satan that are actually like don't seem to be near as cringy.
Yeah.
But they seem more rare.
Yeah. There's a lot of cringe. And there is a lot of damage. Like
fair, Christianity has caused a lot of
damage. But like one of the things that bothered me about the group that I was a part, the local group that I was a part of, is every Sunday in the group on Facebook, it's like meme day.
Oh, okay.
Because they were getting so many memes that people were not doing anything else.
Yeah.
So they just said, okay, we're going to make memes are for Sunday. And Sunday is for memes, and that's how we're going to do it. The problem is every Sunday turns into let's bash Christianity for a day. Yeah. And I mentioned it once, and I was like, hey, like, I get it. Like, I get that there has been a lot of damage done and that we're processing trauma, right? I get that. Every fucking day, though? Does it have to be every time we talk about this religion, we just shit on it? Because that doesn't seem nice.
I run into it. This is in addition to the deep-seated ideological differences that I have with the organizations that I'm a part of, because they are breakaway groups from another group. It very much has that person who just refuses to get over their ex vibes. Yeah. Because like these offshoots happened in like 2004 and 2009, and they're still not over it. And like a lot of the times these were like very traumatic breakups, and there was harm that was done in the process there, but like it's been a while, like especially on an institutional level. Like I really wish they would just get over it.
Yeah.
Because I mean you see this in politics too. Like it's really frustrating it's hard to support an organization that is only against stuff that isn't like they're not for emails.
But her emails.
Yeah.
Hunter Biden's laptop. Okay, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I do love that, like, I mean, that every so often, especially like when they are not controlling something. I mean, the Democrats get the same way. Like,
oh yeah.
Look at all the ways we're not them.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, or you could just like
do something. Do something. Fix something.
Yeah. And like brag about it when you do.
Yeah.
Like
do something good and then talk about the good thing that you did and then do something else good. I don't understand why that's hard.
And I just and Maybe don't make us vote for an 80-year-old.
Yeah, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
That would be so
How about we just... Okay, I have an idea. Mind you, this is crazy. Here's my crazy idea. Let's start a cult that is also a political party.
Ooh, that gets difficult tax-wise.
I mean, it works for the Christians. We'll figure it out.
Right, but they have that Christian privilege thing.
No, but see, every time they make a law to make it easier for them, it'll make it easier for us.
That's true. Oh, did you see out in the middle of my state, the Satanic Temple just got approval to, or they just won their court case to get an after-school Satan club.
Interesting.
And it was like, for theirs, it was like pretty clear retaliation. Like they said, oh, well, you can't do this because you didn't say in your material big enough that this was not a school district sponsored event. And they were like, well, all of these groups haven't been saying at all that they're not a district sponsored event.
Yeah.
So why are we special? Like, it was the most straightforward case I think I've ever,
yeah.
like
Every time. How do you think all your old stomping ground buddies are doing without their porn? Have you been following that shit at all?
No.
Oh my god.
Utah banned porn?
So Utah passed a law that made it the website's responsibility to verify that the person looking at the website was of age, right?
How would they do that?
According to the people who created this law, the idea is that they would give them their ID every time they logged into a porn website.
Wow. Wow.
So, the largest porn
Okay.
site on the planet basically just said, all right, we're blocking Utah. So
Well,
now you can't
Utah,
get...
I mean, Utah did have a weird tendency to actually pay for their porn, so
I
they
know.
might be okay.
Well, I mean, you physically cannot go to...
Oh, so like even if you have like a paid membership, you can't even...
No. If you go to that website with an IP address that shows up as from Utah, you get a page that talks about sexual freedom and then steps on how to install a VPN.
Surfshark have... I would love it if Surfshark had an outlet in Utah.
That would be hilarious. That would be amazing.
I don't think they do, though. They do.
Oh,
They have a Salt Lake City IP address.
do it. See what happens.
Well, I can't do it like right now.
Yeah, you can.
Wouldn't it would, I'm pretty sure it would disconnect us.
Oh, would it? I don't know if
I
it
think
would.
so.
I think the internet is smarter than that now.
All right, so if
Your
I
connection's gonna
disconnect,
get
you'll know why.
Your connection's about to get real shitty though.
Well, you're not wrong. But okay, so if I get disconnected, we'll
Okay.
all know why.
Okay. I don't think you're going to get good.
Okay, so I am now in Salt Lake City.
Nice.
Let's find out.
Science.
Dear user, as you may know, your elected officials in Utah are requiring us to verify your age before allowing you access to our website. While safety and compliance are at the forefront of our mission, giving your ID card every time you want to visit an adult platform is not the most effective solution for protecting our users, and in fact, will put children and your privacy at risk. In addition, mandating age verification without proper enforcement gives platforms the opportunity to choose whether or not to comply. As we've seen in other states, this just drives traffic to sites with far fewer safety measures in place. Very few sites are able to compare to the robust trust and safety measures. I'm sorry. That line's funny.
It is.
That we currently have in place. To protect children and user privacy, any legislation must be enforced against all platforms offering adult content. The safety of our users is our biggest concerns. We believe that the best and most effective solution for protecting children and adults alike is to identify users by their device and allow access to age-restricted materials and websites based on that identification. Until a real solution is offered, we have made the difficult decision to completely disable access to our website in Utah. Please contact your representatives before it is too late and demand device-based verification solutions that make the internet safer while also respecting your privacy.
You want to know what the #1 Google search coming out of Utah has been since that happened?
How do I get a VPN?
What is a VPN?
Oh man, that is so funny.
Yeah. So that's the thing that's been going on.
I'm actually really glad that I was able to connect and make it look like I was from Utah.
Yeah, that is kind of cool. There's also a dude in Canada that I saw who opened a business.
Okay, he opened a business.
He opened a business that sells hard drugs to people. Heroin,
Okay.
like everything. You can buy anything there. Instantly got shut down because of course you would.
Yep.
But that was his plan all along. He's taking it to the Canadian Supreme Court to see if he can undo the whole war on drugs, basically.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's going to try to say that it is our right, basically, it's our right as humans to do what we want with our bodies. And if we want to fill them full of heroin and die, then that is entirely up to us.
That might actually work in Canada.
I know, right?
Like it wouldn't here. We don't have the like system of rights that would allow that, but like
True. They don't.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I thought that was kind of cool. So we'll see how that shakes out over the next.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll take years, but it's interesting that it's actually like someone did the thing to try to fix the thing. So maybe that's what you should do. You should open a heroin business.
And then take it to the Supreme Court
Yeah.
and see what happens.
Yeah. You know you could get donors, especially as a pastor, you would get donors throwing money at you left and fucking right. You would have
probably not right.
Yeah, probably not right. Very
Probably
left.
not right.
You would have lawyers lining up to take the case on for free.
ACLU would probably be all over it.
Oh hell yeah.
But that's
You would definitely not have a job come Monday.
yeah. That is a really interesting Canadian thing to do.
Yeah, it is. I feel like out of all of the states though, like you would have a better chance of pulling that off than I would.
Not
That would
necessarily.
never
PA's
fly here.
Weird, man. I feel like that's a good thing to try in like Oregon or Washington.
I mean, they already kind of did that in Oregon.
That's true. They did.
Sort of. It's
Maybe
kind of.
Vermont.
I mean, the whole area up there though is a little more left than.
Yeah, tends to be.
Yeah.
But again, like Pennsylvania's weird.
Have you seen the journey of the church in the U.S. where taking shrooms is a part of it? Yes, I have been watching that as well. That's an interesting debate that's happening. That's the American way of doing what he's doing. So in Canada, they open a business that sells heroin. Here, they start a religion to do mushrooms because the chances are better to undo it if it's
a religion
tied to
rather than-
religion.
Yep.
Guys, what fucking timeline are we on? I don't like it. Can we swap?
It's definitely a broken one.
Well, I think we should start a religion and a political party.
Okay.
No, I think your wife should start a religion, and Johnny should start a political party.
Okay, there we go.
And then you and I will just keep going to work.
He would be scary.
Yeah. Yeah, because he would go full authoritarian fucking... He would make Hitler look like a pussy.
He would be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's already said that him being in control of anything would be a horrifying idea. He also said that he would absolutely love it. He's like, I would love that, and I would be a horrible leader.
So Johnny never gets to be in charge of anything.
He would be really good at organizing the books. That's everything that we need.
I mean, you need that. That's important.
I'll build a website.
Perfect.
I could have it done by Monday. It'd be fine.
And I will talk about Jesus.
Yes. I do think that there is definitely a void there that used to be filled by religion and other social groups. There are others like the Moose Lodge clubs and all of that
the
shit.
Elkses and
Yeah.
even like the American Legion, VFW, those sorts of groups.
Yeah, but and a lot of those were tied to where you worked, right? Like, I remember my grandpa, his thing was all through the railroad because he worked at the railroad his whole life.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, there was a railroad union building.
Yep.
And you would go there on the weekends and hang out.
And I think I know a lot of those
Spelling
organizations.
editor. Let's not do that,
That's
please.
perfect. A lot of those organizations, churches included, actually, a big part of the reason why they are not doing well right now is they would get people to join, but then wouldn't let them do anything. So they got frustrated and left.
I mean, that's fair. It's also really hard right now because we live in a world where people are working 2 and 3 jobs in order to survive.
There's not like the disposable income that there was.
Well, and when
to
do you
spend
have
on-
time
Right.
to go be social if you're working 3 jobs?
Well, and even if you're just working one job, like, what? There are better things to spend whatever you'd be spending on dues on.
Yeah, that's fair.
At least with churches, you get a tax break.
And that's true. But I do think that there's a void that is somewhere maybe outside. Like, it doesn't even necessarily need to be religious or not religious or whatever. But there is a void there for a community that no longer exists.
Yeah.
And
Well,
I think that it's something that the youth especially don't have and don't know.
Well, because right now we're at like, these are the kids of the 90s kids that grew up in churches that don't go to church and don't have those organizations. So the kids aren't like having like,
They've never
I think of-
experienced it.
even outside of like the religious stuff, like just the experience of like hanging out with a bunch of people my age not at school,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. And see, that was the thing with peers, was like, it was a place to go to hang out with people that weren't your friends. You're not in
Yeah.
someone's basement. It's people that you don't know. It's people, it's a community of people but it's your age, but you're not in school, right?
Right.
It's that thing, that kind of community that just doesn't exist unless you have a hobby or,
Yeah.
you know.
unless you're really into like upside down broom making.
Underwater broom weaving.
Yeah. Underwater basket sweeping.
So all of this being said, do you think we're coming close to a point where you could start posting TikToks? For me, this is all really about you posting TikToks.
All it really is about is that you want me to post TikTok.
Yes. I think you doing TikTok trends would be hilarious.
I'm fairly sure you haven't even posted TikToks in a while.
I did one yesterday.
It hasn't showed up.
Oh, you bastard.
And I've had lots of poop lately. There's been plenty of time to watch TikTok.
I 100% posted one yesterday. It got no views, though, because I don't post enough, so they don't
Dude,
promote it.
yeah, like I have not seen it at all.
Sang saw it. Sang liked it.
Oh, okay.
It was my top 3 celebrity lookalikes.
Oh, yeah. I have not. I will look it up specifically.
Okay. I need to post more. But I like, even if you just took the stuff that you're posting on YouTube and put it on TikTok, I think it would do better over there.
Probably.
Get more engagement.
But people are stupid. Especially like Christian stuff. It's just they're just like dumb. 'Cause nobody's acting in good faith.
Yeah. That's fair. But you just don't engage.
Oh, yeah.
Only engage with the ones who are, delete the rest. Fuck it. It's your house. You can do what you want.
Yeah. Don't pee on my rug.
Don't pee on your... Or make your wife do it. Make Mrs. Pastor post her own sermons every Sunday.
Make Mrs. Pastor pee on the rug. Wait,
Yes. Yes. On TikTok?
what?
I mean, to be fair, that would probably get a lot of engagement.
I mean, that would definitely get a community strike.
That would... It might be the next viral trend of 2023.
All the kids are doing it.
All the kids are pissing on rugs for some reason, and we don't know why.
Oh man.
Well, I hope that you figure this all out.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be something. It'll be it's the moment. I just want air conditioning.
Maybe once you get air conditioning, all of this will calm down and you won't care anymore.
That's what I'm hoping. Like if I just get air conditioning and then everything's fine.
Yeah.
Like and then I can think again.
I think we should start a trend. You and me should post TikToks back and forth to each other. We should never engage with anyone else, only each other.
Just start a trend.
I don't know what it would be. We're gonna start the next big viral trend.
Instead of eating dishwasher pods, we'll eat dishwasher pods instead of Tide Pods.
He's a simple man.
Simple man.
He just wants ack.
He's a simple kind of man.
Ack, ack.
Like that? Like
yes.
that? Yeah.
Just like that. I think I'm done, man.
Yeah, let's call it a night.
It has been a whole
Yes.
a whole.
It has been a hole.
Yes.
I don't know if it's been a head like a hole or just a hole.
Like the band whole?
Yeah.
Like a celebrity what was that album? Celebrity mishaps? Celebrity something. Skin. Celebrity skin. It is all of the celebrity skins.
I mean, I feel like
Yes, the butthole servers.
wow, that's a talk about someone that I completely forgot about until just this moment.
Did you just pull that surfer out of your butthole?
There was there's a song, and I think it was from the 90s, and the song was just called Little Bastard.
Okay.
And I don't remember like who the Ass Ponies. That's who
The
it was.
ass ponies.
Yes. The song is called Little Bastard, and the band is the Ass Ponies.
Little Bastard song by Ass Ponies.
It is everything you'd expect from something that came out in '94.
Oh yeah, this is very 90s. Definitely got that vibe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get a copyright strike. I don't want one of those.
That's fair.
I don't want one of those. Well, I hope you have a better week. I hope you get your AC situation sorted out. That sucks.
Thank you.
Or
Our electrician claims that it should be like next week, but nothing specific. And it's the power company, so it's like whenever they feel like it.
Right. What and a tree, got the whole tree and sidewalk situation.
Yeah.
The world's just kind of kicking you in the balls right now.
Yeah. It's so far it's like managed to actually avoid the balls, but it's like you know
But
when you
your
get
taint
like
is sore.
yeah, when it's kicking you everywhere but the nards, and you're just waiting for one to like.
It's like when your thighs rub together for too long, like when you're walking or jogging, and you come and it's like chapped and sore and just like to the touch. It's like that.
And you also you can go get some Gold Bond.
You can
It'll make that better.
You can, but that's like what for old men, and I refuse to be an old man yet.
There's also like, dude, I ain't gonna lie, Gold Bond is the best, and you really should just.
You
get
are
over that
already
and
an old
go
man.
Get yourself some Gold Bond.
I can't smell like that yet. Give me a couple more years.
It comes in a spray, so it's easier to use.
Right, so you can get the smell everywhere.
Yep, exactly.
So everyone knows you're an old man.
Yep. Hey, for comfort, it's.
I mean,
worth
that's fair. I'll get there. I'll get there at some point.
I was gonna say something, but then we got sidetracked with Gold Bond, and
I don't even remember what we were talking about.
oh, actually, okay. So you know what it feels like? You know when you sit on the toilet for way too long?
Oh yeah,
And the numb starts to like go into the crotchal region.
yeah.
Yeah, it's that. That's kind of where
That's
I'm at.
the
Like
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you try to take a step, and it just does, nothing works, and everything is fire.
It's just pins and needles, pins and needles, pins and needles. Well, for what it's worth, this should make you feel better. Today is the full moon,
Oh.
which means that the
Yeah.
the Mercury retrograde that's been happening is finally over. So hopefully all of the ball kicking or almost ball kicking will stop,
Yeah.
and
Once
things
the
will
moon
get better
starts-
now.
Once the moon starts to go back to its little hidey hole.
Yeah.
And, yeah. Okay.
When the moon hits your eye like a big pizza pie,
That's a kick in
more.
the balls.
That's a kick in the taint. That is a sore taint that needs
Just,
gold bond.
Just a steel-toed boot right to the taint.
Right to the taint. A gold steel-toed boot to the taint. That is Mercury retrograde.
Mercury retrograde in a full moon.
Look, we just designed the whole religion right there. There,
That is it.
there it is. All right, I'm gonna get out of here.
It's a great punk rock band name. Just kicking the taint.
Kicking the taint. See, Reverb is on board. We just started a band,
Started
a '90s band.
too.
We just started a '90s band called Kicking the Taint.
I like it.
Our first album. That's 2 bands I've started today.
What
You
was the
realize
other
that? What was the other one? It was fuck. It was hold on. It was a good one. It was a good one. It's gonna take me a second to get there though. It was it was called here is how we would be announced our first time on the late night show.
Okay.
Off their debut album, Hamatha and the Time Snake, here's Brad's House Party with Demon Party Plate.
Okay. That's good.
Yeah, there's a whole fingering my wood. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Kicking the Taints.
I think that's Kicking the Taint's first album.
Their debut album, Fingering My Wood.
I can see the album cover now.
I feel like
And I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
I feel like there's a reason NoFX is breaking up this year. It's because we're supposed to pick up the torch with Finger My Wood. Who would you open for? I would open for anyone that would be willing to play with my taint.
Well, then you could have a basement party afterwards.
Yes. See, it's all coming full
All
circle.
coming together.
We have,
Ugh.
and to think it's going to take people 3.5 hours to get the whole.
Yeah. They're going to have to listen to the whole thing or else they just missed it.
It's like a fucking Lord of the Rings extended cut. And we are now at Mordor throwing the golden ring into the taint of the Balrog or something. I don't know.
Golden steel-toed ring boot.
That is a callback. It's a couple. All right. I'm going to hit the button. Thanks
hit
for
the
hanging
button.
out, Reaper. You made it all
Bye,
the way
Reaper.
here.
And by anyone who
Here's this later.
actually heard the callback, you win a cookie that you have to buy yourself.
You win a sticker. All you have to do is email satyr@.com and I will send you a sticker.
That was
You like that?
Proud
All
of
right. I'm going away.
that. Bye.
Bye. Love you. It's been fun.
Love
Oh,
all
wait.
of you except Reaper. Wait, there's no one else here. Oh,
It's a little. I
kinda
can't
working.
go any higher.
oh, I need to go down. Okay.
Yeah, there we go. Oh.
I don't know how far. You're gonna have to.
There we go. It's perfect.
Okay.
Now it looks like both of us are just holding giant dicks. All right, I'm going away. On that note, I found the button. Bye. See you sometime. Fuck.
Why couldn't you have found the button?
What is happening?